Oh, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's nighttime. I'm still in pain. I have not fully recovered. My neck hurts. It hurts to swallow for those who saw the stream a couple days ago. Uh, oh no, my sound. Uh, if you haven't seen the stream, you should go watch that stream. That's a really funny stream. I went over the 10 plagues of Egypt and each of the gods that they're related to, and we went a long time on the sexy frogs. So, uh, yes, it was a good time.
Yeah, I didn't actually see it, but you sent in the chat that you were like throwing up madly, so I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, I threw my neck out throwing up, so that was a fun experience. That was
Wow.
something I'd recommend for everyone.
You got
But
whiplash from throwing up?
yeah, I like strained myself so hard, but like all my shoulder muscles just gone.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it was a good time. Anyway, we're gonna be going through just reading the Quran, because this is a very last minute thrown together stream. So neither I nor Chase are prepared at the moment.
Nope.
We're just gonna read the Quran and see what happens. But we're gonna receive the
Right.
hikmah of the Quran.
How could you not? It's for the taking, really.
The Quran has nothing to do with Jews. Please stop. What do you mean?
I mean, satiric talks 22. All right, yeah.
Maybe,
If
yeah,
that's satiric, then that was the funniest thing I've heard all day.
yeah. Uh, yeah. If the Jews are the worst of all creatures that Allah created, and the Quran the perfect speech of Allah, then how could the speech of the Jew and the speech of Allah be similar? Like that
And
kafir.
you,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the problem. That is the dilemma.
You know what? And this is a stream that I would like to do eventually is to take a fairly short passage of like the Talmud and read it and then just blindly take another fairly short surah of the Quran and read it and then see which one is written better because the Quran says, hey, you can't bring a surah that's like the Quran. And so if I read the Talmud, I'm like, hey man, not only is this similar, this is better. Then I could be like, all right, well, the Jews did it.
It have to be similar content, like the same passage, like going through Avodah Zarah and like the Resurrection Surah.
I mean, it could literally just be because the problem it says it just makes a blanket statement. Hey,
Nothing can be
it's
like it.
yeah, it just makes the blanket statement. So I'm like, well, let's just take something and read it, and then let's take something from the Quran and read it and see, man. I think these guys were onto something.
Yeah. So we will go ahead and open up with one of the fun ones. So unfortunately, because I'm going to be highlighting stuff, um, it's going to be in Logos. Not because Logos is bad, but because Logos only has one translation of the Quran, and that translation is bad, because it is the Yusuf Ali. But it's not
Okay,
even a
Yusuf
good
Ali.
Yusuf Ali. It's a bad Yusuf Ali because there's like misspellings in it, which is wild. Also, thank you, Tommy Boy, for the fiver. Here's a fiver. There's no way the last stream got monetized. Yeah, YouTube automatically demonetized that stream, and then I
Hmm.
didn't fight it whatsoever. Because of the first like 10 minutes of the stream. It's a wild stream, man. It's a lot
Why?
of
What
fun.
was the first? What happened? I mean, I can rewatch it if you don't want to explain.
I would
That's
recommend
fine.
rewatching it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, my McCain and my editor and all of them. Also, yeah, Tommy, go to sleep. It's literally like 2 a.m. for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Um, no,
Also, that
he like
fiver is like $6 for us, so thanks.
had to be there, bro.
Yeah, I bet.
So this guy got Gatto, my editor, in trouble because he kept making comments about how he would take two of the different Egyptian goddesses that are fertility goddesses, but they're animals. So a lot of bestial stuff happening and a lot of proving that a man didn't have wood type experiences on the stream. So boys will be boys. YouTube can't handle the truth.
Yeah, it's true.
It was
The
fun.
the
I highly recommend
YouTube
it.
and the Hikmah, they just don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So we did a lot of frog stuff. A lot of
Don't
cat stuff.
don't
Yeah.
even. No, it's all good. Yeah, I
It was
completely
fun.
understand.
It was fun. Anyway, yeah, that stream is not gonna get monetized.
I bet not.
Anyway. So we're gonna read from the obviously inferior Yusuf Ali translation of the Quran. I apologize beforehand that that's going to be the case. There will be some translation choices.
Nah, that's wild. Don't even.
Anyway, he saw the statue where it was immediately like wood. Anyway, so
Nah.
it was a fun stream. Anyway, the Yusuf Ali is not great. It's King's Jamesian English a lot of the time, and it deliberately changes what the Arabic is actually saying in a lot of it. So we will go through, I don't know how many of the short stories, maybe like 5, 10 of them, and just point out things that are rabbinic. And I do think Surah 99 is entirely rabbinic. I don't think there's anything that is unique to Islam whatsoever, including the like pagan stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the entirety of the surah. So for the Quranic challenge of make a surah like it if you dare, there's some surahs that are 7 verses. There's some surahs that are I think the shortest one's like 4 verses or 5 verses. Very very short. You don't have to have a long length. You don't have to copy the cow in order to make a surah like it. You can do it with this. So if this text on screen, if you can make something similar to it or better, the Quran is false.
And remember when Umar said while he was collecting the Quran, he said that he found the last 2 verses of Surah 21, I think is what it was, with this one guy, okay? Not even his kid, not even like any of his family members knew the same thing. It was just this one guy. And he said, had it been 3 verses, I would have made it another chapter. So, and it was really funny when I read that, not because of that, but what it said afterward, because it was like some of our forefathers were bothered when he said that or something like that. And I was like, yeah, also been bothered had we lost our scriptures and all of a sudden you're just like, oh yeah, here's a new chapter. Like
Right. Yeah. Like the fact that the 3 of the 4 reciters that Muhammad endorsed disagreed on the number of surahs in the Quran.
yes.
Kind of
Here,
crazy.
I will pull
Yeah.
up that. Sorry, you can read. I need to find which who said that because now I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, it's fun. So when the earth is shaken to her convulsion, and the earth throws up her burdens, and man cries, "What is the matter with her?" On that day will she declare her tidings, for that the Lord will have given her inspiration. On that day will men proceed in companies, sorted out, to be shown the deeds that they had done. Then shall anyone who has done an atom's weight of good see it, and anyone who has done an atom's weight of evil shall see it. So you have the scales of justice motif right there. So that is rabbinic. You have the people being sorted out on the day of judgment to be judged separately, given what they had done. We have the for that thy Lord will given her inspiration. I honestly am not entirely sure what the pic or the use folly is trying to say there. Let's go to a different translation real quick and see what that
Sahih International is the one that Adam only lets us read from.
really
Yes, because
your Lord
apparently it's
has
like
inspired.
yes, yeah, the Sahih International and King James, those are the 2, yeah, the big dogs. No, but like for whatever reason, he's just like always like, yeah. I love those people so much, man. The King James only, but I guess Sahih International is more like widely recognized, and that's probably I guess the English translation they use in like Pakistan or whatever, where he's
It's the official governmental translation of one of the Muslim countries, one of the big Muslim countries. I think it might be Saudi Arabia.
If it's Saudi Arabia, then that would make the most sense.
Uses Saudi International.
Control F.
That's one of the big ones. Yeah, it is Saudi Arabia. So it's Saudi Arabia's official publishing house translation. So if you're working for or you're working with Muslims, Saudi International is probably going to be the one that they would accept the most easily. Granted, a lot of Muslims aren't even aware of their own textual like stuff, so who knows what they know about that. But yeah, that is the one that you would see a lot of Muslims accepting if you quote from it. I wish we had something like that on logos. Anyway, so in the Sahih International for Ayah 1, we have specifically when the earth is shaken with its final earthquake. So when the earth is shaken to her utmost convulsion, is how that describes it there. And then when the earth discharges its burdens, and man says, "What is wrong with it?" That day will declare its information about all that happened of good and of evil. So there's this judgment day motif happening, and there is descriptions about earthquakes issuing in the end times from the rabbis. So you can make a case that like these would also be it, and that would also be it. You might be able to like debate these two ayah. I think all the rest of it's rabbinic. Which I get back into with most of the earliest, shortest surahs are all rabbinic in content. So for the idea that he only got it later on whenever he went to like Medina, or after he got certain companions, or certain wives or sex slaves, that cannot be the case because the earliest surahs, the shortest surahs, are all quoting from rabbinic material. It's all using rabbinic material to describe things, to explain things. So the fact that you can make a case for the vast majority of this, if not all of it, being rabbinic is pretty insane.
Yeah. So yesterday on our stream with Adam was talking about Abraham, and he went through and read all of the passages about Abraham. Not all of them. We're only about halfway through, but he went through and read them in chronological order, and it's really interesting to see his Muhammad's view of Abraham changing the further you get
Mm,
into his revelation. But I'm sure
mhm.
that's the case with a lot of these things. But I'm assuming, I mean, he's kind of just out the gate with rabbinic sources. Also, if you
Yeah.
guys hear like noises and stuff, Goose, my puppy dog, is on the bed. So yeah, hang
Oh, we
on.
can't see him. Oh,
Come
oh,
here.
oh, 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 oh.
There she is.
Oh.
Hey, look at the camera. Well, Louise is barking now, but there she is. Anyways,
Oh. Oh.
we see her.
Oh. Oh, she's so cute.
She's wonderful. Yeah, I have to put the prong collar on her, or else she'll rip my mom's arm off.
I get that. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm lagging. Oh, I'm lagging. Okay. My computer currently has a lot of stuff open, so we'll see what happens. Uh, but yeah, Umar does invent stuff. You have a couple different writers inside the Quran. So for like studies and religions comment, uh, we have a lot of people in the Quran making up surahs that are not necessarily prophets. So you have the goat eating part of Surah 33, which would ironically kind of make him a prophet because he's kind of abrogating it. Because the way that Muslims explain that section of it being gone is that it was abrogated. Well, there's nothing in the Quran that abrogates breastfeeding. So you'd have to kind of indicate that the goat is a prophet in order to say it was abrogated, because only prophets can abrogate. We also have a bird giving a surah, or at least some ayah of a surah. You have jinn giving ayah. You have an ant speaking within the surahs. You have various people groups. And then you also have companions of Muhammad that were inserting verses. You also have the human compilation of it, where, as you mentioned previously, like if you had 3 ayah, you would make it into a surah. But also we see all over the Meccan surahs, there's Medinan verses thrown into it. And at times it just changed randomly. And
Mm,
even with like the demonic verses being changed, it's not like, so like if they were just abrogated, you would still expect to see them in the Quran, but no, they actually physically changed the manuscript itself in order to remove the demonic verses. So we know the Quran has been physically altered, it has been changed. Um, Based go.
mm, bro. That's what she thought too.
Yes, she didn't want to breastfeed a bunch of men.
I couldn't blame her. Um, so the quote from Umar is, um, if there were if there were 3 verses, I would have made it a separate surah. So look for a surah in the Quran and attach them to it. That's literally what he says.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so I think that that's very funny because it shows, like, literally from a Muslim of all Muslims, that your surahs, that's not how it was revealed, and you can't even prove that 2 verses next to each other were actually revealed next to each other.
Right. You
So
can't.
you could even say, like, th 2 verses that have nothing to do with each other that are, together in a surah, that may have been a completely different revelation, and your scholars just did a stupid job of putting the surahs together.
Actually, they claim that that is exactly the case, and it's actually worse than that. Do you know how they explain what the final ayah to be revealed is? Do you know what it is?
Mm-mm. Oh, the final
Ooh,
ayah? Or
yeah,
the final verse?
yeah.
Wait, the final verse to be revealed, not found? No.
Okay, let's read it real quick.
Let's do it. Because I know the final 2 to be found by Umar was, surah, yeah, it was surah 29.
All right,
Nope,
let's.
surah 9. Man,
let's
I don't remember. At-Tawbah.
okay, so the table 3 is apparently. So let's read this, and then I will highlight the last revelation of the Quran, and you can tell me if this makes sense for it to be the final revelation.
'Kay.
So let's read some of the context. Context actually matters for this. We'll read 2 to 4 because that's what matters. So,
'Kay.
O ye who believe, violate not the sanctity of the symbols of Allah, nor the sacred month, nor the animals brought for sacrifice, nor the garlands that mark out such animals, nor the people resorting to the sacred house, seeking of the bounty and good pleasures of their Lord. But when ye are clear of the sacred precincts, and of pilgrim garb, ye may hunt, and let not the hatred of some people in once shutting you out of the sacred mosque lead you to transgression. Help ye another in righteousness and piety, but help ye not one another in sin and rancor. Fear Allah, for Allah is strict in punishment. So the context here is when you can hunt, and Ramadan, and when you do the Hajj and all that type of stuff. So forbidden to you are food, or for food, are dead meat, blood, the flesh of swine, and that on which hath been invoked the name of other than Allah. So you have to eat halal food.
Mhm.
That which hath been killed by strangulating, or by a violent blow, or by a headlong fall, or by being gored to death, that which hath been partly eaten by a wild animal, unless you are able to slaughter it in due form, that which is sacrificed on stone. Forbidden also is the division by raffling with arrows, that is impiety. This day have those who reject faith given up all hope for your religion, yet fear them not, but fear me. This day I have perfected your religion for you, completed my favor upon you, and I've chosen you for you Islam as your religion. But if any is forced by hunger with no inclination to transgression, Allah is indeed oft forgiving, most merciful. They ask thee what is lawful to them as food. Say, lawful unto you are all things good and pure, but what ye have taught your trained hunting animals to catch in the manner directed to you by Allah. Eat what they catch for you, but pronounce the name of Allah over it and fear Allah, for Allah is swift in taking accounts. This day are all things good and pure made lawful unto you. The food of the people of the book is lawful unto you, and yours is lawful unto them. lawful unto you in marriage, and not only chaste women are who are believers, but chaste women among the people of the book, revealed before your time, when ye give them their due dowers and desire chastity and not lewdness, nor secret intrigues. If anyone rejects faith, fruitless is his work, and in the hereafter he will be in the ranks of those who have lost. What if this was the final revelation, if you had to take a guess, according to Muslims?
What of this?
Right.
Um, I mean, if I just had to guess, I don't know. It's all like, is there some pattern to it?
All of the so what's the context of this passage?
I mean, it's all about what you can eat and what you can't.
Right. So let me highlight what they believe is the final ayah of the Quran. Just that. So they believe that from 2 to 5 was revealed at a different time period than this sentence. So they think that this sentence is the end of the Quran that was revealed like a long time after, like I think a year or two later, if not a couple years later.
Okay. So they think that this specific sentence
Mm-hmm.
is an indication that it's perfect now.
Mm-hmm.
Islam is fulfilled is perfect now. Go take it.
Yep. It's not
So
even
it's not
all
like
of
an
ayah 3.
it's
It's
just
the
that one.
sentence of ayah 3.
So, but like
And
I don't know,
go
like
ahead.
in all religion, well, not in all religion, but like you know, throughout the Old Testament, the Lord is like, "This day have I done this for
Mm-hmm.
you." So it's not like it's
Mm-hmm.
necessarily conveying like finality to anything. I mean,
You're
not
right.
not like on face value, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. I don't know. It just seems like kind of a normal thing.
McCain guessed verse 3 and then said it's even worse. Uh yeah.
Good.
So the way that they explain
Not
this is
even
that
the sentence before.
no.
Is that
So
like every day? This
this is
day.
this
That
day that
one.
rejected. Yeah. So they believe that this sentence was revealed during the final Hajj, whenever Muhammad went and sacrificed a bunch of camels before the Kaaba,
You're
which
allowed
is
to do
not
that?
halal.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think you can do that.
Well, no, they did animal sacrifice. They did animal
Yeah, but
sacrifice.
camels.
Yeah,
Oh, they did?
they eat camel.
Well, I knew that, but I didn't
Yeah,
okay, I didn't
they
know it was one of
sacrifice.
the clean animals that you could sacrifice. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's not from the Bible's perspective,
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
from
say,
Muhammad's perspective, yeah, he didn't want anyone to harm his she camel because he really, really, really loved it. You infer into that whatever you want,
it would.
but he he killed a bunch of camels on the final Hajj. I think it was like an
Interesting.
absurd number, like hundreds of camels were killed to feed everyone.
I
Um,
don't doubt it.
it was well, that, going, I don't actually trust the stories.
No,
I
but
don't
that
trust the
that
serum
seems
much, but
authentic. Killing a bunch of camels. Yeah, I mean, that sounds about right.
yeah.
Par for the
So whenever I
course.
was studying the final Hajj, I saw that this was part of the Hadith, that this was the final verse. And after I read Surah 3, Surah 5, Ayah 3 multiple times, because I was using it as an example of, okay, they have a different halal list than Jews. So I was like making comparisons between the Bible and the Quran for what is halal, what's not halal, especially because um, he says like halal for you is what they eat, and what you eat is halal for them in ayah
That
5.
doesn't make any sense.
So because there's differences between what's halal and what's not halal, I was like, okay, that's obviously a problem. Let's look into this a bit more. And then I found this. So your point of you can't even trust if two ayah are related in time. This ayah is not even related in time within itself.
Within itself. That's crazy. I still don't understand, what do you mean this day all things are good and pure made lawful to you, and then the people of the book is lawful to you, and what you have is lawful to them? That doesn't make any sense. You
Yeah.
can't just like impose your dietary laws on another religion. I don't
Well, he's
like, does that,
God,
well, okay, supposedly, but like,
supposedly.
I mean, he always makes a distinction between like himself and the people. At times it's like, yo, the people of the book are alright, we made them, they gave them that stuff, they go compete with you and doing good works. Other times it's like, murder them essentially. So you never really, it's day by day basis with Allah. Really, also Drew is in the comments. Um, those poor
Oh,
camels. Drew,
awesome.
just get up here.
Yeah, if you want to hop on, you can.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we don't actually know when anything was revealed in the Quran. It's not chronological. It's not based on the length of surahs, which is a lie. I don't know why people tell that lie. It's an obvious lie. Uh, so cute. Do you know what the third longest surah is?
Mm,
See if I can bring up a
the
chart real quick.
dietary dilemma. Um,
All right, save image.
the third longest surah. I can look it up. Or do you
No,
know?
I
Oh,
know
okay.
it.
Okay.
I'm gonna
No, I
bring
have no
a
idea.
chart up on stream. So, if the Muslims always claim, or like people claim whenever they're explaining the Quran, oh, well, obviously it would be number 3, but it's
Is
not.
it ayah count or word count?
It's ayah count and word count technically. I mean, they're kind of related. But if you notice,
Sometimes. Some of the ayah are really
sometimes,
short.
does this look like it's ordered from longest to shortest?
No.
It's 27 is the second longest, and then it goes back down to like I think 8 or 9. Then it like so bounces around, but 36 is I think like the 5th longest or 6th longest. It's in the 30s.
Yeah, I
So
thought, okay.
that's not even like a good regression.
I was
That's
right.
terrible.
Umar was right. There is, he definitely found a couple surah and just slapped 3
Just
verses
tucked him in there,
together
yeah.
and put it in there.
It's
That guy,
crazy.
upstanding gentleman.
Also,
So,
apparently the
okay.
shortest one is
So
3.
the reason why the reason why Adam thinks that the chapters are arranged the way they are is not because of length. It's obviously not chronological. It's obviously not chronological order. We think that it was arranged that way specifically to hide certain things away from the beginning and put certain things in the beginning that paint a better light. So that way, if you read through the Quran in their order, you get a little bit of a different connotation from what you're reading. So, like we were talking about Abraham, chronologically, the first mention of Abraham isn't till like the 11th surah that he revealed supposedly.
Yeah.
And he acted like he didn't even know who the dude was. He just mentioned really his name and he was like, he's a cool dude. But then later you find out things about him, and then he's got like those 2 rabbinic stories. And then later he's like, oh, the Kaaba, that was Abraham. And that's like that doesn't happen till later. So you could tell that at this point, he's starting to connect some dots and he's like, wait a minute, this guy's really important. So then he's like, oh, okay, yeah, this Abraham dude, I'm going to talk a little bit more about him.
Right.
So I think that they ordered it that way, maybe, well, number one, maybe to ward off people from reading it because Surah 1 and 2 are ridiculous. And then
Well, cert 2, yeah.
Well, not just like the number of verses, just like the content in it is pretty ridiculous too.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, so that's actually been my theory for a while of why it's ordered the way it is. And they put the cow at the very front because no one can get through it the first read through. So it's like a anti-reading measure to actually get through the Quran.
Right.
It's not that offensive that you have like beheadings or
Right.
forced child marriage or beating your wives. Like the really terrible stuff of the Quran is not in Surah 2. You find
No.
some stuff in Surah 2, like, oh yeah, 2 to 3, like your wife is a till for you, go plow her however you want, whenever you want. Like that type of stuff is in it. Other than that, again, that's at the end of it. You're not getting to that point.
Yeah.
I know the first time I read The Cow, I almost fell asleep during it.
Yep. It's pretty
I
boring.
have never gotten close to sleeping while reading anything in my life. The Cow was the first time that ever happened to me.
Yeah.
I read a lot of stuff. That I've never been put to sleep. I read legal stuff. I read medical stuff for work
Yeah.
and for a hobby.
Can
Uh,
you read a doctor shorthand?
yeah,
Oh, cool. I wanna do that, but I don't know how.
I work at a hospital, so I
I
kind of
know, that's
have
what I'm
to.
saying, man, like, I'm sure you can read doctor shorthand.
It's not, I mean, depends on the doctor. Some of them are way more neat than others, but
Yeah.
white doctors are the worst.
The white ones?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. American ones. Yeah, I don't know why. Just they don't care nearly as much. You see, it's the proof.
That is the proof. The cow. I'm
Yes.
not even convinced Muhammad named the surahs.
So we do have John Damascus giving the correct names to them and saying that Muhammad was still alive. Um,
Wait, during his time, Muhammad was still alive?
that's what he says, which is
John of Damascus
anachronism.
says that.
It's an anachronism because he's supposed to be dead for like 30 or 40 years.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
he says that like Muhammad is coming out and raiding the places. Like
like, he
Muhammad
is
comes with his books, the cow,
mm,
the table, and the women, and he's raiding. Um, so you do have some like independent or like third party testimony that Muhammad didn't die when they say he died, or at least they're like maybe misidentifying who Muhammad is.
mhm.
I don't know, but we do have a testimony that it is way later after his death that he's supposedly still going around conquering things, and the conquering wasn't even supposed to start until Muhammad died. Like after Muhammad is when they started conquering, according to the standard narrative. So that is in contradiction to a variety of narratives within the standard narrative of Islam. So
Interesting. 'Cause
yeah,
even I mean, even someone who has no real dog in the game being Aisha, because you get the idea that throughout the hadith that Aisha is just only, like, kind of fond of Muhammad. I don't know, I've never really got the idea that she was just like, "Yes, Muhammad, bro. He's my dog." Like, you only just kinda get the idea that, yeah, Muhammad,
yeah,
uh, yeah, like, I mean, he was cool. But she's like, "Yeah, he died when I was, like, 18." So it's kinda like,
hmm hmm
interesting.
yeah. And then she definitely had illicit marriages after the fact.
Yeah.
That she wasn't supposed to have, according to Allah.
Yeah, but, like, what are you gonna say as a Muslim? That's like the mother of the believers, you know? Are you just gonna be like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
mom, can't really, you know?"
I mean, that's what the Shia do. They call her like the things I'm not going to repeat,
Yeah.
but like
The
a
Shia
dog and
dude, did you
yeah.
see the video? That would have been a long time ago, but the guy who's like, who's doing the cooking show
Oh
and
yeah, the guy keeps calling
"By
the
Allah,
Sunni
you are
cooking show.
dogs. I will continue as usual."
I'll be so happy when all of you are dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No, but they kept
wild.
calling in and they were like, "Did you did you use underage women for this meat?" It's just hilarious, and he's just like, "You guys." Oh man, it's so funny. Anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, there's not really much of a topic this stream. I don't know how long we'll even go for today, but we're gonna talk about things. So this is, I think, the dumbest translation in the entire Yusuf Ali.
Hmm.
The day of noise and clamor. Do you have any idea what this is referring to?
Is it the last trumpet?
Yeah.
Awesome. What is the day of noise and clamor?
It, so the actual like Arabic here um is like Kiraton or something like that. And it's like, okay, it literally just means the striking calamity or
Hmm.
like to strike and destruction because it's Girado or something like that. And I have no idea why they're translating it as the day of noise and clamor, but it only ever translates. It's the only translation I've seen that does it this way. So again, just the use of Ali not making any sense. But this is supposed to be Judgment Day, so we do have the Judgment Day thrown up there. So
Mhm.
The day of noise and clamor. What is the day of noise and clamor? What will explain to thee what the day of noise and clamor is? It is a day wherein men will be like moths scattered about, and the mountains will be like carded wool. Then he whose balance of good deeds will be found heavy will be in a life of good pleasure and satisfaction, but he whose balance of good deeds will be found light, he will have his home in a bottomless pit. And what will explain to thee what this is? It is a fire blazing fiercely. Interestingly, I'm curious what this word for pit is here. Do.
How exactly is a fire a bottomless pit? But anyways.
The abyss. The abyss. So, Hawiyatun? Hawiyatun looks like. Interesting. I was wondering if it had anything to do with Sheol. That's just Hawiya. Because like the pit and the Sheol and all that stuff from the rabbis. But we do have these, the blaze is obviously rabbinic. Uh, I don't know, but all of these things are rabbinic for sure. The bottomless pit might be with Sheol, but I think I'd have to look more into that as well. So I'd throw that in like a green category. I'm not entirely sure yet. And this is all rabbinic with the day of clamor because you have the trumpet call happening. You have the people shouting and being gathered. You have the earthquakes. You have the calamities. You have a lot of random noise and clamor. And the way this word is used in other places in the Quran and by the translators themselves, they all admit, like, yeah, this is just the day of judgment. So this would just be one of the very, very rabbinic passages or very, very rabbinic surahs. So, like, you can't even say that this is anything other than rabbinic. I don't know what you do with this as a Muslim because most of the stuff, like the weighing of these weights here, that is not in the Bible.
Well, not the Bible you have. Yeah. No, it's not. And that
It's not
it
in your
actually
Bible, David.
it actually like for whatever reason came to be associated with Christianity, which was really weird. All this like is like that's not. Anyways, I'm going to take my dog out and put her to bed really quick. It is her bedtime. So,
You
give
good?
me 1 second.
I'll read the comments for a little bit. Making a table of all the sources the Quran seems to copy from. I have that already. If you're talking about rabbinic sources, I have the books that are the most common. If you're talking about Jews, Christians, Manichaeans, Zoroastrian, Persian, Babylon, with three of those basically being the same thing but have slightly different contexts. So, like Babylon has some of their own mythology that's slightly different than Zoroastrian, which is slightly different than general Persian because they have pagan customs within their Zoroastrian customs. But I have a lot of that already. I can just tell you it. If you give me a specific on what you're thinking about, whether it's rabbinic or otherwise. Uh, the weighing of the scales, I think, would have originated from Egypt. Yeah, I mean, you do have the judge with the scales, with like the heart being lighter than a feather, and all that stuff, and a couple of different gods involved with that. Um, you do find this explicit, extremely explicit in the rabbinic sources. Going through Rosh Hashanah 16b is a very good time if you want to see that. But also, I think Avodah Zarah 2a through 3b also has that in it. The Rosh Hashanah passage is more explicit for that. I can pull that up real quick. Um, while he is out getting the puppy, le puppy. But I was going to read through this for a bit. So, Rosh Hashanah 16b. Oh, I think it's 16a that has the scales in it. Let me quickly go up. Do, 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 do. Oh, it's 17a. Yeah. I combined them in my head real quick. So, do, do. Master said in a Brita above, it is cited that Bet Hillel says, who he who is an abundant in kindness tilts the scales in favor of kindness, so that the middling people will not have to pass through Gehenna. The Gemara asks, but isn't it written, and I will bring the third part through the fire, implying that there is a third group which is sent to Gehenna temporarily. The Gemara answers there, the verse is referring to the rebellious Jews who have sinned with their bodies. We have this exact type of phrase in the Quran. And the Gemara continues, the rebellious Jews assume their bodies. Didn't you say that there is no ratification? Again, very Quranic. The Gemara responds, when do they have no ratification? When in addition to having sinned with their bodies, the majority of their actions are sins. But here, the verse is referring to people whom half their actions are sins and half are meritorious deeds. And those sins included the sin of the rebellious Jews who sin with their bodies. And then it keeps going. But again, it talks about he who is abundant in kindness tilts the scales in favor of kindness. So we just look for this word scales. It comes up in 4 different places. So tilts the scales, tilts the scales, tilts the scales in favor of kindness. So we have specifically these scales are what being judged on. It comes from a bunch of different places as well. Why, hello.
I'm back.
You are back. All over the place.
Are you talking about scales?
Yeah, well, he asked. He made a claim of like, oh, well, that sounds more Egyptian than would rabbinic, but they get a lot of their stuff from Babylon. Babylon got a lot of their stuff from Egypt, so there's a lot of syncretism within the religions.
Yes, as they are the major powers. So if you think about it, Egypt, power,
Babylon,
Persia,
major power. Yeah,
Assyria. But anyways, continue.
Yeah. So the Greco-Roman sources, Galen is a really, really common one. They have a couple other physicians as well. A lot of the physician writing in 5th, 6th century Arabia, it was just starting to spread orally for some reason. I haven't looked deep into why it started spreading orally, but it started spreading orally right around the time of Muhammad, right before him. So he got access to all of this Greek material, and we see a lot of it in the Hadith, in the Quran. So the two semens theory comes from the Greeks mixed with the Babylonians. You have a lot of the two semen stuff, the semen in the back being the male semen, which is also why Mary had the male semen and the female semen. So whenever Jabril blew into her, it was to sexually arouse her, to get her excited, to release the semens to mix in order to conceive. So we get a lot of really, really, really dumb stuff from that, but you also get like her basically having some form of intercourse in order to conceive Jesus. So she's not really a virgin birth in the way the Muslim sources depict it. But you have a lot of stuff from Galen and the Greeks in general. That's where the embryology comes from, is from him. So you get the Siemens theory, you get the embryology, you get the 3 layers of the womb, probably from them. You maybe get the duration of nursing from them, but there's some differences there. That's also in the rabbinic sources. Same with the 3 layers of the womb. But it seems to be like a misunderstanding of what they're actually claiming, because the Greeks are very, very specific, and it's like talking about within the embryo itself, or with like in the embryonic sac, it talks about 3 layers for the embryo. Instead, the Muslims apply it to womb, like uterus wall, and then the belly. And it's like that is not at all what the Greeks are talking about. Like they invented a term to describe one of their layers. So now the Quran takes stuff from the Greeks, doesn't fully understand what they're talking about, and then makes it a very much dumber claim than what the Greeks were actually claiming a lot of the time. But there are some really dumb things like semen coming from the backbone and the ribs that he's just taking wholesale. Zoroastrians, you get a lot of their cosmology stuff. You get a lot of the stuff with these stars being like things to shoot down jinn. That is probably some mixture between rabbinic and Zoroastrian writing systems, because and maybe Hindus, but unless the men of Al-Zut passed on more than just their knowledge to him, he might have gotten it from them, but yeah. You have the 5 daily prayers coming from the Zoroastrians mixed with the Jews, because they did 3 daily prayers in the Talmud, which is what the Quran actually says. Harut and Marut.
Harut and Marut
Um,
come
you
from
have that from
Zoroastrianism.
them. Yeah.
That whole
Uh,
verse is actually pretty Zoroastrian.
right.
2102.
Yeah. So you get a lot of stuff from there, but the vast majority of the content is from the rabbis. So
Which were in turn influenced by the Zoroastrians.
right. Yeah. There's a lot of syncretism between the Babylonian rabbis and the Persians because they were living in Persia.
Yeah, and I
So
think that's really funny because, m for all that it's worth, Judaism was a very, like, exclusivist religion. It was you were either a Jew, you were ethnic Jew, or you had moved to Israel or something like that, and then you get these rabbis, and they're just kinda, like, stealing from the Persians, you know? And it's just kinda like, "I thought you liked the Bible."
yeah, you would think. Also, the stars, if you guys don't know about the stars and the jinns, but I feel like most people should know about it by now, but I have no idea what people do and don't know. Basically, the Quran says in multiple places, like 6 or so places, that there are 7 layers of heaven, and towards the beginning layer is the stars, and then the planets are beyond the stars. So, how that works, scientifically, you know, the Quran has scientific miracles, but it gets the stars behind or in front of the planets.
Yep.
That's its own thing. And also gets the sun in front of the planets. That's its own thing. So the only accurate part of their cosmology is the moon is in front of the planets. Everything else is incorrect. So, but because of that, they have Allah's throne in the 7th heaven, and they have the stars in the 2nd or 3rd heaven. And those stars keep the jinn in the sky because jinn and shaitans specifically are the ones who are trying to go up to eavesdrop on the divine council and to hear the plans of Allah in order to try to thwart his plans, because apparently the jinn and shaitans can thwart the plans of Allah. And the reason why Allah wants to keep him out is because he's worried, I guess. He doesn't really explain it. But he created the missile defense system in order to shoot down the angels to keep them from eavesdropping to be able to thwart his plans. So he both needs a divine council because he can't make up his mind in and of himself. I personally don't subscribe to the divine council view of the Bible, but I think if you do, that's fine. I just think it's a little silly, but teach their own. Um, that's one of the major disagreements I have with Michael Heiser. Other than that, I think the guy's awesome. The guy is awesome.
The guy is awesome.
I agree with a lot of the stuff he says. I don't think the divine council view is as strong as what he does. I hope to argue with him about it in heaven. Although once we're in heaven, it doesn't really matter to argue about it. So, anyway, um, that being said, the jinn and the shaitans are shot down by the stars. And you do get in the rabbinic sources and some of the apocryphal stuff, not like the Midrash. You get shaitans trying to eavesdrop on the divine council, going up to the curtain, and they're going and they're flying, but they can't fly forever. They get tired and they fall. And it says that they look like they're shooting stars falling out of the sky back to Earth. Maybe that could be where he's getting the stars or missiles to shoot down the jinn. Maybe that's Zoroastrian influence as well. Maybe that comes from the Hindus as well, because the Hindus also have a thing of there's being threads in the sky that keep the world in order and keeps down evil from like doing things in the atmosphere. So you have like a mixture of the 3 belief systems that he's pulling from to create that view. That view is somewhat original to him, even though it's sourced from the religions around him. But yeah, the Quran affirms stars or missiles to shoot down demons.
You'll notice that he includes original things in, like, the stuff he plagiarizes too. So, like,
Yeah,
in the story with Abraham, he makes up the fact in one of the spots that, that Sarah, like, slaps her face in anger. Like, nobody says that. And it's funny because he
although he
actually
doesn't call her
contradicts
Sarah.
himself. No, he never calls her Sarah, no.
Mhm.
But he even contradicts himself when he said at first she smiled and then she slapped her face, and of course we know that she actually laughed because that's where the name Isaac came from. Muhammad had no idea. The more I read the Quran, the more I'm convinced that Muhammad never actually really even saw a Bible. I don't know that he ever did. Because it's like, how are you this like you started with some great material, man, but you went so far off the freaking chizang. I don't know how you got here.
Right. So you do have this question of I fully agree with you. The only thing with him not seeing a Torah is the hadith with him placing the Torah on the judgment seat and saying, "I believe in you and the one who revealed you."
That's if you trust the hadith, man.
That's if you trust the hadith. But that hadith is so funny to the Islamic dilemma. I trust it just because
Yes.
I want it to be true.
Yeah, I want it to be
Uh,
true too.
so that would be
But
like
the
the
problem is
instance.
no. If
Okay.
it's consistent with Muhammad's view of the Torah, that could have been a Talmud.
It could have been the Talmud. If it was the Talmud, it would explain a lot.
It would be so much funnier.
It would be a lot funnier. Yeah.
Because
Especially
I
'cause
mean, every time he talks about the Torah, he just refers to the Talmud. So why would he have any reason to put an actual Torah on there? He doesn't
right.
even know what the Torah is. He doesn't understand that the word Torah means law, that it could refer to rabbinic tradition, and that it could also refer to the first 5 books of the Bible. He
Or the
doesn't
Mishnah.
know any of that. Or
Yeah.
the Mishnah. So
Yeah. And he quotes the Mishnah a lot. Quotes
yeah.
the Gemara a lot. So I'm wondering if he actually had some like Talmudic paraphrase and he thought that was the Talmud. Or not the
Or
Talmud,
Torah.
the Torah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Because
thinking so.
like if you just had like a rabbinic student's notes and that's all
Right.
you had was just a rabbinic student's notes, like, hey, this is what I've learned so far. He had that in a scroll and he like stole it or traded it or bought it or whatever. If he had that and thought that was the Bible, that would make so much sense.
I know. Yeah, right. Right.
But I can't prove it, and that irks me.
Yeah.
So,
Like it
yeah,
fell off the bus when the student was getting on, and
yeah.
we like picked it up.
It would also explain why he's not perfectly consistent with the Talmud all the time. If it's just a specific rabbi's student's interpretation of the Talmud in the rabbinic material,
He's
that would make a
also
lot of sense too.
I mean, he's also not perfectly consistent with himself.
It's true.
So
Yeah.
he might be remembering what he read
Right.
from that one student's notes. He's
Yeah.
like, think, Abraham.
Which is it's interesting too because he has contradictory stories of how Abraham converted, but both of those stories are rabbinic.
Yep.
So did he read one section of it and he's like, "Oh, I should write that down." Then he read another section of it that like talked about the other version of it, and then also revealed that. It hurts
No
me.
idea.
Yeah, but are the Talmudist and Quranist influenced by the ideas of the Sabians and Zoroastrians? Yes, they are. You also have to remember the Sabians at this point in time are Jews and Christians by and large. So the Kingdom of Haimar, it became Jewish for a while, became Christian right before Muhammad because he was conquered because of a genocide that happened, which is mentioned in the Quran itself. So there's a genocide of Christians that is mentioned in the Quran, which also means that the Quran is affirming Trinitarian Christians as true believers in Allah.
Hmm.
Have you heard that argument before?
No.
Oh yeah, that one's fun. I think it's 72. Hold on, let me find it. But the Tafsir explicitly identify it as the massacre of Narang. So, Surah 72, Christian massacre.
What do you think like the video game Doom would look like, but in Islam?
It's 85.
That would be
The
crazy.
video game Doom look like
Yeah,
in Islam.
Doom.
Yeah.
Where you're going around slaying the demons and stuff. How would that look like in Islam? Anyways, I'm sorry. He
no,
said that the stars and jinns thing would make a cool video game, and I was like,
I was thinking that too, man.
shooting jinn sounds like a Doom.
It really does. I was immediately gonna make a Doom joke.
I mean,
Okay,
you can't
so
really joke about Doom. Doom is freaking great. I love Doom.
okay. So from 4 to I think 9 or 10 is a argument you can make that Christians are true followers of Allah. Trinitarian Christians are true followers of Allah. So we have woe to the makers of the pits, fire supplied abundantly with fuel. Behold, they sat over against the fire, and they witnessed all that they were doing against the believers, and they ill-treated them for no other reason that they believed in Allah. Okay? So they were treated ill because they believed in Allah. Exalted in power, worthy of all praise, him to whom belongs the dominion in the heavens and the earth, and Allah's witness to all things. Those who persecute the believers, men and women, and do not turn in repentance will have the penalty of hell. They will have the penalty of the burning fire. And those who believe and do righteous deeds will be gardens beneath which rivers flow. That is the great salvation. So the woe to the makers of the pit, this whole thing is the actual woe. So from there to here is the woe. Well, the makers of the pit is referring, according to the tafsir, to the massacre of the Christians at Narang, which is just north of Yemen. It is actually on the outskirts of the Himyar kingdom. And that kingdom was Jewish up until this point in time. After the Christians were massacred, the Byzantines sent a subjugation squad and like annexed the country, made it Christian, and so on. So that's how Yemen became a Christian nation right at the time of Muhammad. So Muhammad would have had access to the South Arabian or the Yemeni or the Himyar, the Sabian, whatever you want to call it. He would have had access to their pagan belief systems, their Jewish belief systems, and their Christian belief systems, just talking to anyone from Yemen. Ironically, his nurse was from Yemen. She was Ethiopic. So, anyway, but we have specifically here, according to the tafsir, according to the Quran, this is woe to the makers of the pit, woe to the Jews, specifically the king, who ordered all these Christians to be killed. The way he killed them is he literally threw them into a trench and then lit it on fire. So he burned them alive in a trench. So this is what this is describing. It's like, oh, woe to the ones who made the trench, woe who those like set it ablaze and who sat over it against the fire and they witnessed all that they were doing against the believers. So the Christians of Naran are believers in Allah, true believers, and he issues a penalty against those who persecute these specific people. Guess what these Christians believed in?
I mean, yeah, I bet they were Trinitarian.
They were
resurrection, believing.
They were Oriental Christians. They were Oriental Orthodox Christians. They were Miaphysites. They were Nicene affirming Christians.
Yeah.
This is the Quran affirming Nicene affirming Christians as true believers in Allah and issuing a woe to those who persecute them.
Well, that's a wrap for Islam.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Anyway.
Well. At the end of each level, you find a slave, and when you beat the game, you are rewarded with an Al-Zut scene. Oh my god!
I don't think that's a reward, my guy.
Dude, what kind of reward
is that? It's McCain last night with all the frog stuff. I believe in you, and the one who revealed you. Talking about the Talmud.
Yeah, the one who revealed you, i.e., the rabbis. Dude, so we have more evidence for these people who were killed during this great Christian burning than the people who worship Mary. What were they called? You remember whenever Jesus is like, do you take Allah, my mother, and me? What were they called? The supposed group of people who worship Mary that the Muslims point to because they're like,
the
oh
Ebionites?
yeah, the what?
No, not the Ebionites. Oh! I know who you're referring to now.
Yeah.
Area
worship Coloridianism. Yeah.
Alridians. Yes.
So we have
We have more affirmation of Trinitarian believing
not the
Christians than
Marianites. That's
not the
different.
Marianism, not the Calridians. The Calridians, yep, Miaphysites are Trinitarian, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Can I explain the argument I just made? Sure. Because it's actually one I think Christians should know how to do. Because the tafsirs straight up affirm it. So if we go to the tafsir, it's pretty obvious. But even if we go to like different Surah translations, like let me actually bring this up in Quran.com because I have all the Surah translations there. And then go to 85:4.
His name is Chris, by the way.
Oh, my name is Chris.
Not Rebbe.
Rebbe Christefe.
Yeah, I mean, you can find them.
Oh yeah, my guy. I have tables. I'm
I
literally
don't.
writing a book on this. His name is Chris too. Absolutely correct.
Yeah, Chris too.
I will forever be Chris too. Okay.
To who?
Yeah.
Chris at Speaker's Corner?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first time me and him streamed together, I asked him what he wants the names to be because we're both Chris. And I was like, what about Chris 1 and Chris 2? Like Thing 1 and Thing 2 from Dr. Seuss, because we're both idiots. He laughed and I was like, I'm taking that as approval. So I made him Chris 1 and me Chris 2. So since then, I've evolved into Chris 2. I am the Chris 2. That's why if you notice on the Discord, my name is Chris 2. Anyway, for this argument that I think Christians should understand and know is condemned are the makers of the ditch, which is actually what the Arabic roughly pit, ditch, whatever. Now there are actually two explanations in the tafsir, which is the boy and the king being one of them, and the other one being the Christians of Naran. Ironically, if we actually go to Ibn Kathir on this, you're going to find out that this is very quickly not the boy and the king, but this is the story of the boy and the king. So if you're interested, you want to look through the Halaikon's version of it. The footnotes of the Halaikon is the story of the boy and the king. And this is the other Islamic explanation of what the makers of the trench is. But we have the fire, the pit fueled with fuel. When they sat around it, watching that what they had ordered to be done to the believers, because they were watching the believers be burned alive. So we have the believers specifically here, the Minina, they are believers in
Muminia.
Allah. Yeah. So these are true people that will be in the garden in Jannah. Who they resented for no reason other than belief in Allah, the Almighty, the Praiseworthy. So the Jews hated them because they believed in Allah. So this is affirming the Christians and denouncing the Jewish king. And so the one whom believes the kingdom of the heavens, the witness over all things, those who persecute the believing men and women and then do not repent will certainly suffer the punishment of hell and the torment of the burning. Well, if we go to the tafsir of this section, so we're on Ibn Kathir, and then we go down to Narang. So Muslims also quoted this hadith at the end of the Sihah, or end of the Sahih. Muhammad bin Ishaq bin Yasar related this story in his book of Sirah. So this is from the life of Muhammad. And another way that has some differences from that which has been related. Then after Ibn Ishaq explained that the people of Naran began following the religion of the boy after his murder, which was the religion of Christianity, he said that the king Dunawas, which is actually the Jewish king that did the pit in historical sources, because the Byzantines recorded this as well. It's not just the Muslims that are recording this. This is a historic, verified event in history. The reason why his kingdom fell and became Christian was because of this massacre. So we have this historic event being recorded in the Quran, according to the tafsir. Then the king came to them with his army and called them to Judaism. He gave them a choice to either accept Judaism or be killed, so they chose death. Thus he had a ditch dug and burned some of them in the fire in the ditch, while others he killed with the sword. He made an example of them by slaughtering them until he had killed almost 20,000 of them. It was about to do Nawas and his army that Allah revealed to his messenger. Cursed were the people of the ditch, oh fuel of or fire fed with fuel when they sat by it, and so on. So this is what Muhammad bin Ibn Ashaq, so again, the Sirah guy, said in his book of Sirah that the one who killed the people of the ditch was Du Nawas, and his name was Zurah. In the time of his kingdom, he was called Yusuf, because he was a Jew. He was the son of Tubin Asad Abi Karib, who was, so on, so on, so on, so on. So he killed 20,000 of them in the ditch. This is Ibn Kathir. Ibn Kathir is recording. Can't actually make it bigger without doing it. Ibn Kathir is recording that this surah is about the Christians being killed, but the Quran calls the people being killed true believers in Allah. Yet they were Nicene affirming Miaphysite Oriental Orthodox Christians, Trinitarians. It's affirming them as believers. Why?
So wait. So this actually happened? Like there was a king and he was like, you either be a Jew or I kill you?
It's the Noron massacre of 523 AD.
Wait. Okay, hang on. So evangelism is not exactly Judaism's thing. Like they don't really go around like commanding people to become Jews. So I'm assuming these people were Jews that had converted or what? Or was he just actually just like a crazy Jew?
Well, there's a lot of those in history.
I mean,
there's
that's
a lot
true.
of crazy Christians in history too, but
that's for sure.
Yeah, no, the Jews were not always peaceful when it comes to conversion. But we have specifically, these are the sources of the ones who are telling the story. If you notice, there's some Christians in this list.
Yep.
Martyrdom.
Can you tell us about that?
The Book of the Himyarites, which is the story of this kingdom, because he was the last. I think he was the last king of the Himyarites, because they were immediately conquered right after. They were important because their chief deity is the chief deity that the Quran ascribes to the Sabians, even though they didn't worship the sun. The Himyarites did. They worshipped Shams. The Sabians worshipped Almaraka, or Almaka.
Okay.
Which is the moon deity. It's also the moon deity that the moon and the star, like the moon and Venus, that comes from the Sabian pagan belief system mixed with the Northern Arabian. So the Southern Arabians and Northern Arabians both worshipped the sun or the moon and Venus. So moon and Venus configuration. Conjunction. So this is what they're actually looking at whenever they say that they're like worshiping it. It's pretty neat looking. And you can actually get some pretty cool, like this is what it would look like back then. So you have like the crescent moon with the Venus hovering around it. Well, Venus is actually worshipped as one of the gods beside Amalaka in the Sabian pantheon back in the day. And that worship eventually got, confounded with Shams, who was the goddess of the sun in Arabia. And all of that eventually bubbles out. Well, the Quran is getting history wrong because it says that the Queen of Sheba worshipped the sun, which in the 10th century BC, they would have worshipped the moon, not the sun. Come on, Muhammad, you should have known that. But he didn't know that because the pagans, up until his time period, before they became Jewish, only worshipped the sun. So he just assumed all of them did. They didn't. So anyway.
Get your polytheists right, dude.
I know, right? But yeah, no, this is a historic event. 523 AD is when it happened. We have a bunch of sources on it, and the Quran is one of them. And it's affirming them as believing people.
Supposedly, the Quran is one of them.
Well, I mean, I think all of the tafsir affirm that. Go to... Oh, they only have 3 tafsir.
Oh, I'm sure that that's what he was writing about, but like you said, there were some that disagreed. So...
Yeah.
Nice.
He's referring to Ibn Kathir, but I mean, again, if Ibn Kathir gets it, I don't really know what you do past that. I'm pretty sure Al-Jalalain also has that note.
I think, well, most Muslims would take Kathir's, because Kathir, he's not exactly like one for trimming the fat. He just kind of like tells you everything that everyone ever thought about a verse. So I think most people would view, well, I say most people, a lot of Muslims take like Al-Tabari as generally the most authoritative, just because of his relation and separation from Muhammad, because he was the closest. But
Right.
everything he says is pretty stupid and rabbinic. So
We also have Ibn Ishaq. So I mean, Ibn
yeah, yeah.
Kathir,
No,
Ibn
I,
Ishaq.
I
I think Al Jalailan does too. Like, you can't really get past it. Um, that's why I also like the translators, other than who is it? Khan. I think Sahi talks about it as well. Yeah. So even the Sahih International has a footnote which alludes to the historic event, where agents of a tyrannical king who refused to allow his people to believe in Allah. Their evil deed and obedience to their ruler earned them for them the curse of Allah.
huh,
Subhanallah. Uh,
subhanallah.
yeah. This is
My,
just one of, I think, a pretty strong argument for Allah affirming Trinitarian Christians,
and then also denying them.
then also denying them. So this would just be one of the contradictions.
Yeah, I really I love it. I love it
Amen.
when Muslims will be like, "Oh, dude, come on. Wait, you believe this? But the Quran says over here this." You're like, "That's the problem." That is in fact the problem.
Uh, yeah. So, there's so many arguments you can do against Islam, man. It's insane.
It is pretty
Um,
insane.
yeah.
But they just kind of killed you if you did so back in the day.
Right. Why have we not expanded thee thy breast?
Honestly, Allah, I wouldn't mind
Brother.
if you did that. I need something on me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
The
little
up
too
one, you
skinny.
know? Yeah. Dude, I love the Yusuf Ali. I hate it so much. Um,
Oh,
all
you
these
were reading that.
I was reading the Quran, yeah. Wait, have we not expanded thee thy breast and removed from thee thy burden? The which, the which the which did gall thy back. What is this sentence, my guy?
I mean, there's
I
similar stuff in the Bible or in the King James for sure. The
oh
witch. So
man.
like,
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna do it the easy way and just not rely on the stupid. Yeah, okay.
it's still there.
Well, no, like okay. The which did gall thy back and raised high for you your renown? Have we not expanded for you your breast and removed from you your burden which weighed down your back? Oh, that's what that's supposed to
Gall?
mean. Which weighed down your back, the which did gall thy back.
I mean, when I think of gall, I think of like a negative, like, I don't
I
know.
think of bile, like the
Yeah, that's what
actual
I was gonna say. Yeah,
gallbladder.
like gall, like I think that's how that
That
was
is
used. I don't know.
strange, man. Anyway, and raised high for you your renown, for indeed with hardship will be ease, indeed with hardship will be ease. So when you have finished your duties, then stand up and worship, and to your Lord direct your longing. Okay. Also, it's again the exact same sentence repeated twice.
I love that. It's to make it rhyme.
Oh, of course, yes. Um,
Yes, the
uh,
ancient French, the gall.
is it good? Okay. I also want to keep just reading out the translate instead of going through the Yusuf Ali.
You can't highlight the
Uh,
translated stuff though, can you?
no, not like I can't. Nah, like
Yeah.
highlight it over here. All right. So Surah 102. Uh, this is such a
I
janky looking mess.
I think it's funny though, because it's at the right, and it's like, I see you trying to get out of Yusuf Ali. Get back there. It's already in English, man.
Uh, all right. I actually
The
highlight all the text
multiplication of the jinn.
more. Show me everything. Nay, you will
Nay.
come to know. Then nay, you will come to know. Nay, if you knew, you sure knowledge. Is that actually what it's translating from?
You want me to
All right,
pull up
hold on.
Sahih International? Well, I guess if you're gonna use this, I mean that's fine.
I'm just flabbergasted by this translation. The mutual rivalry for piling up diverts you until ye visit the graves, but nigh ye shall soon know. Again, ye shall soon know. No, ye soon, soon shall schnosh. Nay, were ye to know with certainty of mind. Ye shall certainly see hellfire. Again, ye shall see it with certainty of sight. Then shall ye be questioned that day about the joy ye indulged in. All right,
I can
I'm done
almost
with
imagine
Logos.
this is how terrible it is reading it in Arabic too.
Uh, I've felt that way several times while reading Arabic, but again, my literacy in Arabic is not good enough for me to say how terrible it is. So
Mhm.
instead, I quote the scholars who've already done that for me. Sami al-Dib wrote a 500-page version of the Quran in which he had 200 pages of grammatical errors within the Quran.
Mm.
He totaled over 2,500 grammatical errors of the Arabic of the Quran in his book.
So of the 6,400 verses,
6236. Yeah.
62, yeah.
So out of the 6236, there are 2,500 at least errors in the grammar and linguistic errors of the Quran is how we actually named it.
That's because that's the way Allah revealed it.
Right. But you have to know Arabic to read that book. So
Yes.
I have it in French, which is unfortunate because I also am not very good at French. So I'm working on trying to get all of that information into the English for the footnotes of the Quran translation we're doing. Uh, that's going to be a task. It's going to be a challenge.
But did
But
the French write a lot on the Quran?
no, he's Palestinian, but he lives in Paris.
The
Yeah.
person you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Sami al-Dib. He is a Palestinian Christian who moved out of Palestine whenever Hamas started all their craziness and went to Paris. He is a scholar. He's written like 50 some books. He has some very interesting views. I did a live stream with him the other week. I did not put on my channel. Interesting guy, to say the least. Interesting guy. He's letting us use a lot of his material for the Quran, so we're blessed by that. But
Hmm. I wonder
yeah,
what he thought of Palestine before, because Hamas was like always kind of present, unless he's really old.
he is really old. He's
Oh, he is really old.
he's 78
So when you say Hamas started their craziness, do you mean like
in the
30
80s,
years ago? Yeah, okay.
40 years ago, just before I was born.
Okay,
Oh,
interesting. I guess I haven't seen that do you said you did a live stream with him, but you didn't
yeah,
put it on the channel?
right.
How
It
did
was on
you
his channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's Quranic Arabic. Yes. He writes
Yeah.
he's translated the Quran into 5 languages. And so he's done it in English, Italian, French, German, um and he made his own Arabic compendium and footnotes and all that stuff. So yeah, he listed out 2,500 errors, linguistic errors of the Quran, many of which are just broken grammatical structures because Muhammad had this funny act of changing words entirely, making up new words in order to make them rhyme.
Mhm.
So there's words in the Quran that don't exist in Arabic uh, because it rhymes. Because almost every verse ends in an A or an
Mhm.
NA. Even though grammatically an NA indicates a continuation in normal Arabic grammar, which we see in the Quran as well. So he actually uses normal Arabic grammar where it's a continuation. So in the surah about the jinn, we get that the jinn is speaking for almost all of it because it's a continue like every clause ends in na, which indicates that it's both a order of events that are happening and a continuation of the same thought. So we have this continuation, this very lengthy, like paragraphs of content from not Allah speaking in it because of this grammar structure. But he also uses that grammar structure just to rhyme. And it's very confusing. So
Yeah, a lot of the words that don't exist in Arabic are words that exist in other languages that he just kind of like transliterated over into Arabic.
Like
And then
ifrits.
there are a lot of them that just don't exist.
Mhm. Shekinah, Gehenna, Jannah, ifrits. You have a lot of Persian. You have a lot of Hebrew,
Yeah,
Aramaic.
Persian. He
Um,
likes that. For whatever reason, he likes because I remember I was talking to Usama, and Usama did a translation of the Quran as well. His is it's known as the Generous Quran, and it is a wild read because he barely knows English, but he has notes and everything in it, so it's really helpful. I really enjoy reading it, and you say like over and over again, non-Arabic word of Persian origin, non-Arabic word of Persian origin, non-Arabic word of Persian origin. And it's like, man, all right.
I need to talk to Osama 'cause he would be super helpful for the Quran project.
He would be super helpful for the tafsir. Because he's got his this website that like you can and he reads Arabic and all that stuff. It's his native tongue, and he just
Yep.
goes in, he finds it, and he reads it, and that's it. That's how I got the like you said, Kathir's story about the Solomon going to the spring, filling it up with wine.
To drink the wine
That's
and
how I
alcohol.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I got that was him explaining that to me from Kathir's tafsir.
Mm,
Um, so yeah,
yeah.
Usama would be a good. I think Mary has already talked to him, so I don't know. Um, I don't know. I just remember he said, "Yeah, Mary and I talked," and I was like, "Oh, okay." Um, so I don't know if he wanted to help or not, but
Okay.
because
Well, if you want to give me his DM,
he does a million other things.
I know, I know. So does like Giant DOC and like everyone that would
I
be really good
know
at doing this project is always
is
busy. So it's
always
like
busy
even
because
talking
he
like Adam or anyone else like who knows Arabic, it's just like,
yeah,
what
Adam
do you
would be
do?
great. The problem is Adam isn't focused on English as much.
Yeah.
He began to be focused on English because me and Andrew came on, but it's mostly his Urdu, Hindi stuff and his Adam
Mm,
Seeker official channel that he's really doing stuff with. Hatun, however, I will say him and Hatun have gotten together and done a bunch of stuff in English, so that's been good. Hatun would be fantastic for this shish kebab, but again, she's always busy, which justifiably so. Um,
I could send her a message, see if she'd be interested. I've not actually talked
she's
to her yet.
very she's very matter of fact. She's very yeah.
Yeah, she's great.
I like Sister
I've
Hatun.
only interacted with her once, on a Zoom call with, David and a variety of other people for the Islamic Dilemma. Um, cool chick,
Mm,
baller chick, man.
no,
That
she's
she's
awesome.
a hard lady. Like that is awesome, awesome, awesome warrior for Christ.
I interacted with her once on a phone call when Usama handed me the phone and said, "Hey, this is Sister Hatun. Ask her to be in a video." And I was like, "Well, hello." And lo and behold, it was. I was like, "Ah, that's awesome." So,
Oh, it's fun. Yeah. So back to the basic project that we've diverted from a bunch of times, which is
well,
it's fine.
yeah, way diverted.
I mean, that is
That
my
whole,
go-to.
Christian of Najran thing, though, is very helpful. So
Yeah.
that was a good detour.
I streamed for like 3 hours the other week on just every argument I came up with to defeat Islam.
Mhm.
Um, Also in my channel, for those who don't know, if you just like go to my post and keep scrolling down, I have like 40 arguments in syllogism form against Islam. Many of which I think are like excellent. I also have a document that I could probably just share that as well. That I need to flesh out more because that's going to be part of the anti-Dawa script. Um, Many of them are already there, but they're pretty cool. At the beginning of that stream, I went through the Christians of Neuron as well. But yeah, so I guess we'll read from Sahih because why not? Competition in worldly competition in increases diverts you. I hate the fact that
Yep.
the just so broken. Until you visit the graveyards, Oh, the day of resurrection. Okay. No, you're going to know. Then no, you are going to know. No, if only you knew with knowledge of certainty. You will surely see the hellfire. Then you will surely see it with the eye of certainty. Then you will surely be asked that day about pleasure. And then it just ends. Very interesting.
What about
Much
pleasure?
hikmah.
What about
just-
pleasure are we going to be asked?
You'd be
Muhammad?
you'd be questioned about your pleasures. There was this comment the other day of so in the Quran it talks about how your right hand and your left hand is going to be testifying against you
Yep.
based on like the books that you're holding. And one of my comments was diabolical. The guy was like, "Man, I'm not looking forward to whenever my right hand testifies against me."
Oh, nah. Yeah. Mm-mm. That's crazy. That's crazy. Bro, put
Uh,
the ringer.
yeah.
Nah.
Yeah. Quran straight up denies that Jacob and his descendants were Jews. They were Muhammad style Islam.
That depends on like
Yeah.
what point chronologically, because like he does say that we gave them, well, I guess that doesn't really imply that they're Jews, but he says, and we gave them the prophethood. So, I mean, but yeah, he doesn't exactly say that they're,
Yeah. I mean, all of the people are supposed to be Muslims, essentially.
Yeah, Muslim.
Yeah. Even though Muhammad's supposed to be the first Muslim, and Abraham's supposed to be the first Muslim, and Moses is supposed to be the first Muslim, and Noah's
Noah.
supposed to be the first
Yeah.
Muslim.
Adam.
Is Adam called the first Muslim?
Well,
All those
he
other guys
is
are
a,
explicitly identified as it.
okay, I was going to say, he is considered a Muslim, right?
He's
In
considered
Islam?
I think he's considered a prophet.
He's definitely considered a prophet.
Yeah. So then he'd have to be.
Yeah,
But
he would have to be a Muslim,
yeah.
unless he's a rabbi.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Oh, dude, the Quran sometimes like. All right,
It
just for
gets
this surah, until you visit the graveyards, until like, I guess, until you die and know about the resurrection, know you are going to know, then know you are going to know, know if only you knew with certainty, with certainty,
certainty.
you will surely see the hellfire. Again, so like, why is this considered like the best of all creations? And the thing that really irks me about the claims of the Quran that Muslims make is the Quran. Do you know what is considered the greatest miracle in Islam?
It's not creation.
Nope.
No, hit me.
The Quran.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, now that you say that, yes, I feel like an idiot, yes.
But there's a tafsir that says that the Quran is a greater miracle than the resurrection of the dead. So even if Jesus raised from the dead, that miracle would be lesser than the Quran. Can you think of why?
Because because no, honestly, I've honestly given up on guessing what Muslims say anymore.
It's because we can hold it. So because we can hold it, and because I can open it and read it, and because you can open and read it, because we all have access to this book, it's the greatest miracle because it's a miracle everyone can experience. It's a miracle for all time in all places.
What a wonderful world. Yeah.
So because it's it's a miracle that is like, oh yeah, anyone can just like open this and read it. All the colors on my page. Because anyone can open it and read it, it's the greatest miracle ever. Then the chief of the miracles, guess what surah they claim is the best surah in the Quran?
Miriam. That's my
No.
favorite.
The cow.
Yeah, Al-Baqarah. Yeah.
Yeah, they say the cow is the greatest of the miracles And then they say the throne verse is the greatest miracles of all creation.
Hmm.
You know what the throne verse is?
I've probably read it and forgot it promptly.
It's 255. So, for those who are curious, what the greatest verse of the entire Quran, like this is the greatest miracle of all time. You
Surah
can read
2
it
is
from
not good. All right, here we go.
Allah, there is no deity except for him, the ever living, the self sustaining. Neither drowsiness overtakes him nor sleep. To him belongs whatever's in the heavens and whatever's in the earth. Who is it that can intercede with him except by his own permission? He knows what is before them and what will be after them, and they encompass not a thing of his knowledge except what he wills. His courtesy extends over the heavens and the earth, and his preservation tires him not, and their preservation tires him not, and he is the most high, the most great. There is several tafsir about this that's really funny. Let's see if they have it. No, not that one. Not that one. Maybe this one. Oh, it's not actually going to talk about it. Oh, that's a shame. Okay, hold on. We get in a variety of the tafsir. Here's this one. This is known as the throne verse. According to the commentary Islamic scholar Muhammad al-Yubi, this verse is regarded by Muslims as the most excellent verses of the Quran. It has therefore played a very important role in Muslim piety. A tradition depicts Muhammad as saying, the master of all speech is the Quran, the master of the Quran is Surah al-Baqarah, and the master of al-Baqarah is the throne verse. In Qurtubi reports that when the throne verse was revealed, every idol and king in the world fell prostrate, and the crowns of the kings fell off their heads.
What's wrong?
Have you? Were you overwhelmed by this verse?
The hikmah.
The hikmah.
No, I was not, unfortunately. But you see, that smells oddly like the Muhammad splitting the moon thing. Like,
Yeah,
surely someone would have noticed.
surely.
Surely someone would have noticed in like the Hindu house of like that's got the 5 idols lined up in the front that they all fell over. Surely someone would have noticed, right?
Yeah. So yeah, this is apparently a greater miracle than the moon splitting and his
Yes.
water fingers, which is just hadith only. Although I don't actually think the moon splitting is for Muhammad. But that's its own debate. Like I think it's more likely to be for like Moses. Especially like I think the whole night journey wasn't even about Muhammad. Because you have similar reports for I think Moses.
Riding
It
his
wasn't
donkey?
Moses, it was Abraham. Yeah.
That whole thing?
Yeah, you can make an argument that it's not actually supposed to be Muhammad with the night journey.
Oh,
It's supposed to be
interesting.
one of the prophets.
Well, he talks to Moses in one of the heavens in the night journey, doesn't he? That's when he establishes the 5 prayers, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
according to Hadith, because it started at like what, like 72 or some
Yes.
absurdly
So,
high
yeah,
number. Then he
essentially, yeah,
negotiates it down to 5.
he goes to Allah, and Allah says, like 70 or whatever, and then he comes down, and as he's going down, he meets Moses, and Moses is like, "Yo, how many prayers, man?" And he was like, "Oh, dude, it's like 70." And he's like, "But I'm afraid that the people won't be able to bear it." And Moses is like, "Don't even worry about it. Go up there and be like, 'Yo, Allah, I don't know about this. Can we make it some less?'" So then they do this like 4 times, and then he's like, "All
Mm,
right, 5."
right. Yeah. Although that is also a contradiction with the Quran, because the
Yes,
Quran
because
says
there's
3.
only 3.
Yeah, because that comes from the rabbis.
Mhm.
Yeah. You do have an argument. I think Sale was the one who originally made it that I read. That journey is supposed to be about someone else. Um, is that like Surah 17? Yeah. See if he has a note on it. Because I think it mentions the Furqan here. We gave Moses the book and we established it as guidance for the children of Israel. Uh, May he be glorified who carried his servant by night from the sacred mosque to the farthest mosque, around which we have blessed, so that we might show him some of our signs. Indeed, he is the hearer, the seer. We gave Moses the book and established it as guidance for the children of Israel, saying, choose a new guardian besides me, the sons of those whom we carried along with Noah. Indeed, he was a grateful slave, and we decreed for the children of Israel in the book. You indeed will spread corruption on the earth twice, and you will become great tyrants. And on and on and on. I'm not going to read all of Surah 17. It's quite long. But I'm pretty sure there is a description here. Oh, it's Tisdale. So William Tinsdale notes that in this tradition is incorporated from Zoroastrian tradition, and so may be an example of the Persian influence on the Quran that is heatedly denied at 16103. Tisdale states that a Pavli book called Alta Namak, written in the days of Ardashir, some 400 years before the Hijra, contains an account of the Magi of Persia sending a Zoroastrian of the above name, that is Artha Varef, up to heaven with the view of bringing down tidings of what was going on there. This messenger ascended from one heaven to the other, and having seen it all, was commanded by Ormrazad, the Zoroastrian deity, to return to the earth and tell it to his people. Tisdale continues or concludes, there is no doubt a singular resemblance between the ascent of this Magian messenger and that also of told of Muhammad to the heaven above. Instead of around, we have just a note on the differences between the Kira. Yeah. So Tisdale notes that it was Zoroastrian, and then you can also make a case that it was Moses that it's actually supposed to be talking about, and verse 1 and 2 has the same context. Of course, they would deny that, but interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because the Alaska Mux wasn't even built yet. So,
No, it was built. You're just a Islamophobe. Yeah, Tawheed Islam 1. That's probably the best Muslim name I've ever seen. We
Tawheed
know he
Islam.
supposedly did thousands of miracles in the Hadith, but according to authentic Muslim sources, the only miracle that Allah sent Muhammad with was the Quran.
Mhm. Which is the greatest miracle Allah ever did.
Right, which was the greatest one. In fact, it's like he was reciting the Quran from before the foundation of the world, man.
Right. He used the Quran to create the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Which comes from the rabbis as well.
All 7 of them.
Right. The worlds, which again comes from the rabbis and Zoroastrians. It's fun.
The whole 7 heavens, 7 earths thing?
Yeah, 7 heavens comes from rabbis explicitly. Then the worlds comes from his title because he is Olam Yeretzi, which is like the Lord of the worlds or the Master of the universe. But
Right.
because worlds is plural in his title, because it's supposed to be Master of the universe, you actually get a literal if you're just like translating it directly from Hebrew to Arabic without taking nuance of they mean the universe, not specifically multiple planets, then you literally get Lord of the worlds or Master of the worlds. So that exact phrase is in the Talmud. And he's just getting it. So we get the 7 heavens and we get there being plural worlds. 7 earths is not as explicitly Talmudic, but the idea of multiple worlds within his title is. So he might have just assigned, oh, well, there's 7 skies, there's obviously 7 planets, or he's getting that from some Gnostic or Persian influences because they have weird cosmology in general. Oh, they're just arguing. Okay. Where it says he didn't do miracles, only says he wouldn't do specific. My guy.
Yeah,
It
I'm finding
explicitly
it.
says he didn't do miracles in the Quran. It says you are only but a plain warner.
Mhm.
Actually, I think I might have it in the Talmudic Dilemma presentation. You are only but a plain warner. A bunch of times. I do have it for sure in one of my arguments. I just don't remember which one it was.
Now you do have that idea with the Lord Jesus, right? The Lord Jesus says, I've done miracles. No sign from here on out is going to be given to you but the sign of Jonah. Um,
Mm,
but Muhammad, you almost get the idea that Muhammad wants to do miracles, but he
but it
just
can't.
like is incapable.
Right. He cannot do miracles.
Where? Hang on.
So Surah 29, 48. Do, 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 do.
All right, here we go.
So rather, the Quran is distinct verses within the breast of those who have been given knowledge, and none reject our verses except the wrongdoers. But they say, why not signs sent down to him from his Lord? Say, the signs are only with Allah, and I am only a clear warner. It doesn't say only some signs. It doesn't say only some miracles. It says explicitly, this is it. This is it. Also, McCain's going to bed, so thank you so much for the super chat. And also, go to sleep. Much love. Really love.
Mm.
Love you, guy.
Yeah.
You, even though you like frogs.
Yeah, all right.
Anyway.
Yeah, some translation says, I am not but an obvious warner.
Is it not enough for them that we have sent down to you the book, which is recited to them? Surely in this is a mercy and a reminder for the people who believe. So we have this isn't not the only one. There are dozens of these. Oh, he's a plain warner. He's a plain warner. He's a plain warner. If I just search like that exact phrase, plain warner, I should be able to find it quite a bit of times. And I can. Hold on.
Yeah, also, from my understanding, a lot of Muslim commentators also affirm that Muhammad did no other miracles.
Okay. So 15 times is what the exact phrase plain warner came up with, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 15. So, have they not thought that there is no madness in their comrade? He is but a plain warner. Okay. We sent Noah to some people. Indeed, I am a plain warner to you. Noah didn't do miracles. And say, indeed, surely I am a plain warner, such as we sent down to those before we make division, those who break the Quran into parts. Say, O mankind, I am only a plain warner to you. I am only a plain warner. And they say, why aren't signs sent down upon us from his Lord? Say, signs are with Allah alone. I am just a plain warner. It is revealed to me only so that I might be a plain warner. Say, I am no new thing among the messengers, nor do I know what will be done with me or with you. I do but follow what is inspired in me, and I am just a plain warner. This is actually one of those verses where Muhammad seemingly doesn't know if he's going to be saved. He doesn't know what's going to happen to him on the day of resurrection. Why are you trusting someone who doesn't know if they're going to be saved or not?
Yeah.
I've talked to ex-Muslims that came out of the faith because they read this ayah. They're like, oh, Muhammad doesn't even know if he's going to be saved. How can I trust him with my salvation?
Right. Yeah. So, Taid, you said that no prophet did miracles on his own. John 10,
Jesus did.
verse 18 is probably my favorite verse to dismantle this whole idea. So, I will read in the New King James just to get to all you youngins. It says, no one takes it, speaking of his life. So I'll read verse 17. Therefore, my Father loves me because I lay down my life that I may take it again. No one takes it from me, but I lay it down of myself. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it again. This command I have received from my Father. Notice he says the power to take it again. Now, the actual command to do so, because the Lord Jesus is subject to the authority of the Father, the command was given, so he was able to exercise his power. but it was not because he could not do it. It was because he could do it. It was because the Father told him that he could. So it's because of the how the Trinity works, and I'm sure you um, don't understand that either. But it's because of how the Trinity works that the Lord Jesus subject himself to the Father, and when the Father said, "Get it done," the Lord Jesus, of his own authority and his own not his own authority, of his own power, got it done. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's probably my favorite verse to show the difference between having the power to do something and having the authority to carry it out. Or, having the
Mhm.
power to carry it out and having the hang on. Yeah, having the power to do something and having the authority to do so. And it's a little, yeah, but anyways.
Yeah. I mean, my body has the power to smash my own head in, but it doesn't have the authority to do so. It
Right.
has to succumb to my conscience, my will,
My
and
will.
whether or not it can do something. The Father is the head of the Trinity. He is the, if you want to call him the will or the like. I always use our bodies as analogies for the Trinity because it's the least heretical. It's a little heretical, but it's the least heretical because we ourselves are trinities. We have a body, a soul, and a spirit. They
Yep.
are three. All three are members of us, yet all three are distinct from each other. I
Right.
am not a body. I am not a soul. I am not a spirit. I am a body and a soul and a spirit. My body is Chris, my spirit is Chris, my soul is Chris. But if I were to remove my body, my spirit, my soul would still remain Chris. Um, I would say the soul has primacy over the body and the spirit, that the flesh and the spirit submit themselves to the will of the soul. Otherwise, our spirit would always win out as Christians, but our flesh does win out at times because our soul falls into one of the two sides. So we can trust our spirit and follow God, or we can trust our flesh and follow away from God.
Mhm.
But ultimately, it's our soul making the decision to go in either direction because there's a tug of war happening between us. But our soul has primacy over the other two. In the same way, the Father has primacy over the Son and the Spirit. They submit themselves under the authority of the Father, yet all three are equal. Jesus is the physical manifestation of God on the earth, both before he was human and after he was human, or after he took on humanity into his hypostatic union. That aspect of it, he is the physical embodiment that can come to earth. He is the exact imprint. He's the Shekinah on earth. He is the glory of God that we can physically touch and see. He is the glory of God that came out of the cloud to speak to Moses face to face, who ate with Abraham, who called fire down on Sodom and Gomorrah out of the Yahweh in heaven. He is the Yahweh that physically touched everyone in the Old Testament who touched. He is the one who held the sword against Balaam. He's the one who held the sword against David.
It appeared to
Uh,
Joshua.
he's the one who slayed the enemies, the Canaanites of
Mhm.
Israel. So he slaughtered. Like he is the physical. So you have the Holy Spirit that is supplying the spiritual side of it, the spiritual world. Holy Spirit interacts with that. He interacts with our spirits and builds them up and strengthens them, encourages them, cleanses us, does all the regeneration, all that fun stuff. Jesus is the physical. The Father is immaterial. He doesn't have a physical presence, but he is authority over it. So that is how you could understand the Trinity. Every argument you have against the Trinity it doesn't understand the Trinity in order to make the argument that you're making. So if you actually understand the Trinity the way it's being taught, and even what I just said is a somewhat of a simplification. But if you actually understand the Trinity and the relationship that has to happen within it, uh, you start to automatically see all the errors in the Dawa arguments against Christianity that are all built on straw men. Once
Yeah.
you tear down the straw and actually make a steel, if you steel man Christianity, you can't make those arguments. That should alert you that my arguments are actually pretty weak. If you have to steel man your argument or your opponent's positions in order to make the arguments you're making, that means your arguments are likely not very good. And maybe you should rethink things. Maybe you should come at it from a different understanding, a different perspective.
I'm sorry, right now Goose is dreaming.
Oh, that's
She's
adorable.
like she's barking in her dream.
uh,
She is not happy, whatever is happening. Anyways, yeah, so I understand. what you're saying. Why can't you understand the simple thing? No prophet believed in a pagan Trinity concept. I appreciate your saying words. They're falling on deaf ears, unfortunately. So, uh, just because the Trinity is not simple doesn't make it false. Um,
Mhm.
and I really do appreciate your pushing Dawa talking points here, and you've really successfully derailed the conversation. I have a hard time letting stuff like this slide, and I need to, if I'm going to be a streamer, I have to be able to let this stuff slide because I can't just be going after everything.
Right. I was going to, then you brought it up, so yeah, why not?
Yeah, why
I
not?
usually get at least 2 of these guys every stream, so I'm just used to
And
it.
it's, I mean, I guarantee
But
you, I'm going to make a prophecy in the private chat, and I'm going to see if it'll happen. You can read it to
it's
the
perfect.
class if it comes true.
Okay. One of my favorite quotes for the Muslims out there is, if God is too small, or is if God is small enough to fit into my mind, he is not big enough to solve my problems.
Yeah.
If your God can actually comfortably fit in your mind, if you can actually comfortably understand God's existence, even though he is the transcendent, that's not a very good description of God. That's probably not a very realistic God. Um, the Trinity seems to make more sense
And
if
that's
it's more of our
that's the
expectations.
that's the God that atheists would expect, right? If atheism were true, you would expect to find gods that fit in people's minds. But that's not what you find in the Bible, right? Because, according to naturalism, oh, well, people invented God in order to deal with certain problems, stuff like that. The God of the
Mm,
Bible doesn't actually always provide us with answers to the problems that we're looking for. Um,
yeah.
Sometimes he leads us with more questions. But that's his prerogative, right? We have the
Ye
God who not only prophesied in Psalm 22 that they were going to say things like he believed in God, but actually, like, it still happened. Like, I find it so interesting how the Bible literally says the things, and they still do the things. I don't know, I think our God is so cool and awesome and way better than Allah, but
yeah.
maybe that's
Yes.
just me.
No, that's the valid position. So,
Yeah, no,
as far
God
as
is
the
not the author of confusion. That comes from the Bible, dude. That's
okay.
anyways.
So the question I've had on screen this whole time, maybe creating the Hadith tradition itself was influenced by the Talmud. Yeah, it was. There's a lot of Hadith that are just straight rabbinic phrases. Um, there's this whole genre of tafsir and Hadith, which is the stories of the Jews. That's actually like literally what it's translated to. It's the Israelite, and that those are just very Jewish because they literally, the genre of it is stories that they got from the Jews, but it's in the Hadith. Like Muhammad says some of it, and there's a Hadith that some people view as spurious. That is like, if the Jews are saying it, it's fine. Trust them. I really want the Hadith to be authentic. It's in the Tafsir. I haven't actually found it in like Bukhari or anything, but in, I think, Ibn Kathir. It's not Ibn
Good thing.
Kathir. It's like, I think it is Ibn Kathir. It's either Ibn Kathir or Qurtubi. On yeah, they're like, yeah, if it comes from the Jews, it's gold. Trust it unless it contradicts the Quran. So
That's the best part.
yeah, no, I was just going through the comments. And, this guy, fire stream. Thank you, my brother.
Yes, thank you. I also saw that. Appreciate the love, y'all.
I love Sebastian. He's always funny, man.
He do be pretty
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, caused hallucinations. Uh,
You know, that whole problem
yeah.
with John, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Uh, this is the very, very dumb Dawa talking
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, that was the one I was talking about.
Do you know which gospel has the highest Christological statement? I wouldn't say it's John.
I don't know how to do an R. Like R,
Mark.
K.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Mark. What are you thinking of for the highest Christology? Because I have a specific verse I'm thinking of.
Um, So I honestly,
Nope, not that.
you know,
Too far. So this one's mine.
yeah, go ahead.
Mark 14. So every chapter of Mark has a Jesus claiming to be God. Every single one. So you start out with like him being placed in the place of Yahweh with John the Baptist, and it just keeps going and going and going and going. And like it culminates with Mark 14, 62, and 63. But it like 60 is kind of, or 61 is kind of the start of it. So like, and again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One?" Jesus said, "I am," said Jesus, "and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven." That is 4 different deity claims. Those
Mm-hmm.
are not just 4 different deity claims. Those are every type of deity claim you can possibly think of in one sentence. So while John says in the beginning was the Word is with God, the Word was God, which is true and it is very high Christology, it doesn't have nearly as high of a Christology of what Jesus says about himself. This is the highest Christology statement Jesus makes. He's the I am of Isaiah and of Exodus, but the I am of Isaiah is more important here because he's actually quoting, the Greek is quoting the exact usage in Isaiah, not the exact usage in Exodus. So even though this could be Exodus 3 16, 3:14, where it is the I am, the Eosher, even if it could be the Eosher, which it is, it's for sure the Anihu of Isaiah. And if we go to Isaiah real quick, listen to me, Jacob, Israel, whom I have called. I am he. This is Anihu. I am the first and I am the last. Tell me, in the Quran, what does Allah claim to be? Is Allah the first and the last? Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
My own hand laid the foundations of the earth, and my right hand spread out the heavens. When I summon them, they all stand up together. Is Allah the creator of the universe in the Quran?
Mm-hmm.
Come together, all of you, and listen to this. Which of the idols has foretold these things? So he's prophesying. The Lord's chosen ally will carry out his purpose against Babylon. His arm will be against the Babylonians. I, even I, have spoken. Yes, I have called him. I will bring him, and he will succeed in his mission. Come near to me and listen to this. From the first announcements, I have not spoken in secret. At the time it happens, I am there. And now the sovereign Lord has sent me endowed with his spirit. I don't actually like the way the NIV translates it because they add the quotation marks there instead of here. When in the Hebrew, it's actually a conjunctive vav there. So if we go to the NASB, we can see this conjunctive vav, and we also see that it has the quotation marks in the right place. So the vav I'm speaking of is this one right here. This vav is a continuation of this sentence. So he said, "Come near to me, listen to this. From the first time I spoke in secret, from the time it took place, I was there. Now the Lord God has sent me and his spirit." This is the Ruach. This is the Holy Spirit. And we have specifically Yahweh, Adonai, is sending this person. Well, the person who is speaking in this section is also this person speaking who is saying the I am, the Anihu, right here. This is the first and the last. The creator of the universe is being sent by Yahweh Adonai along with the Holy Spirit. This is the Trinity in the Old Testament. This is Jesus in the Old Testament, being part of the Trinity, sent by the Father with the Holy Spirit to save his people. This is Jesus claiming to be the creator of the universe in the Old Testament, in Mark 14:62. This is who he's quoting. We see it in the Greek. So Jesus is quoting that, but he's not just quoting that, because he also quotes, "You will see the Son of Man." This is from Daniel 7.
Mm-hmm.
The Son of Man coming in the clouds. Who comes in the clouds? Yahweh. There's at least 4 different chapters in the Old Testament that says Yahweh comes and riding the clouds. Who's sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One? That is, he's sitting on the mercy seat. So he has the authority to not only touch the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant, he has the authority to sit on the Ark of the Covenant as a throne.
Uh-huh. And you know who did that?
God.
God. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so just side note, I love that one man once a year could go before the Lord in the Old Testament,
Mhm,
right? It was just one man, and he had to sprinkle
mhm,
the blood on the mercy seat. Under the new covenant, every believer all the time gets to go before the Lord.
mhm.
Man. But so you asked for my favorite one in Mark.
Yeah.
Mark 2:28 is my favorite. We'll start in
Ooh,
verse 27. It says, there, you could pull it up if you would like. Yeah. Um, it says in verse 27, then he said to them, the
eh,
Sabbath was made for man, not man for the Sabbath. So the Son of Man is Lord, even
is
of the
Lord.
Sabbath. Would you like to
Mhm.
tell me, Chris, exactly how important the Sabbath day is to the Jews?
Everything.
It is literally everything. Like so the Bible calls them in the New Testament high days. They were called high Sabbath days. They were days of
Mhm,
rest that were associated with ritualistic practices, i.e., days before and after sacrifices or feasts. So this whole idea of rest revolved around the Sabbath, and the Sabbath was considered a mark of finality, but then the Jews kinda took it and made the Sabbath into something that it wasn't really supposed to be, because they were so confounded with it. That was, like, their favorite thing. And if you read in Exodus 16, in verse 29, it says, "See, for that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath." So when Jesus here in Mark 2 claims to be the Lord of the Sabbath, he's claiming to be the Exodus 16:29 Lord. Now that
mhm,
capital Lord, if you wouldn't mind, in the Hebrew is the Yud He Vav He of
mhm.
Yehovah. So
And
that's probably
in
my favorite.
Greek, it is Kyrios.
That's definitely my favorite of the ones in Mark. Because it's repeated in Matthew and in Luke, but if you want to say that that Mark is before the four, which I mean, in my opinion, Matthew, mm, I've heard good arguments for Matthew, but if you want to say Mark was the first, completely fine.
Fine.
The
Yeah.
Lord of the Sabbath, and it's not
Mhm.
even Mark calling him the Lord of the Sabbath. The Lord Jesus says that himself. And if you're a red letter Muslim who only likes to read what the Lord Jesus has to say, you can't get around the Lord of the Sabbath.
We literally just showed you 2
We just
places where
explained
Jesus is
that.
claiming to be God.
Yeah, we just explained that.
So either you're not paying attention,
He's not.
you're just not listening, you're just debating in the comment section. Well, you're
Yep.
not really debating, you're just saying things. You're not actually engaging with any of the arguments. But Jesus makes so many deity claims.
No,
It's insane. Like, I don't understand how people can't see it. Because again, like Alex O'Connor, like he doesn't say it nearly as much as he used to, but he used to make the claim all the time of, "Oh, Jesus never actually claimed to be God." Same Bar Ehrman in his popular level stuff, not in his scholarly works, but in his popular level stuff. Like, "Oh, well, Jesus never claimed to be God." What?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And not only that, like I think that a lot of this divinity and this kind of language is really lost on modern people because we don't have that like, yeah, so what, the Son of Man is the Lord even of the Sabbath. Okay. I mean
Right,
it's just a day of the week, like who cares? But to
right.
them that was like their thing. It's what separated them because you have to understand like dietary laws were I mean kind of new, but they weren't exactly super new to religion. Prayer wasn't really a new thing. Like there were so many things that like the Lord set specifically for them to do as to be separate from other religions, and a lot of religions kind of adopted it from Judaism. But the Sabbath was like their thing. They had a day of the week that they didn't do work. Now they still did work because they found ways around it, um, because they wanted to. But
No, man, I can tell some stories about that.
well, yeah, I love how yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll say that for
But
another Ash stream.
I mean,
But
you guys don't have to be mean.
again, this he's not paying attention. Okay.
No,
So
even you Christians,
Tawhid.
even you
Islam, if
Christians,
okay,
don't be mean. You
true.
don't. That's just gonna push people away, right? We have to be
Right.
kind. We have to love.
Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
So this is important because this is where the Son of Man context comes from. Because Muslims don't actually understand, they don't know the Bible.
Nope.
So here's what Jesus means whenever he says that he's the Son of Man. Because Muslims are taught that Son of Man means a human and Son of God means divine. That's not true. Son of God is a human term and Son of Man is a divine term.
Hmm.
The only time Son of Man is not a divine term is with Ezekiel, but Ezekiel is a type of Christ. So we still get that. But here we have that as I looked, thrones were set in place. So this is plural. Remember that there's thrones in the courtroom. And remember, this is the courtroom of heaven. So, and while I was speaking, actually, let me go to the beginning of it. So there is all these beasts coming against it, and they're giving all their testimonies, and it's the end day symbolism and typology, and not typology, but like eschatology and all that stuff is happening. So thrones are set in place in his vision, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. I think Christians and Muslims and Jews alike can all agree that this is God. So God is taking his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair on his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire. His wheels were all ablaze. A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated. The books were opened. So this is Judgment Day. Then I continued to watch because of the boastful words of the horn that was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain and its body destroyed and thrown to the blazing fire. The other beasts had been stripped of their authority, but were allowed to live for a period of time. In my vision at night, I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days, was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and peoples of every language worshipped him, and his dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. Well, this word worshipped here is interesting. As I bring it up in Greek and Hebrew. This word worship is an interesting one because it's Aramaic here. It's not actually Hebrew. So it's Aramaic, and it's this phrase right here. And this
Oh
is
yeah.
the type of
Aramaic.
worship that you use when you're doing worship to a deity. It's the same word being used early on in Daniel whenever he's talking about worshiping Nebuchadnezzar, when they're bowing down and worshiping the statue, whenever he issues a decree and tells them to worship him, and he doesn't, he's thrown into the lion's den. Whenever Radshak, Meshach, and Abednego, whenever they're thrown into the lion's den, not the furnace, and then Jesus or the angel comes, whether it's Jesus or not, but the angel comes and is with them. I
Yes,
personally
Jesus.
think it is Jesus,
Yeah.
but there's debates on that. All of those are the same exact word for worship. So this is worship in the sense of a god that is being done here. So we have the Son of Man coming in the clouds, comes up to the Ancient of Days, and is led into his presence. His presence is thrones right now. So he likely goes and sits on the other throne that is unoccupied because there were plural thrones being set in front of him. So this is a god-like looking human. It's a human man who is God coming in the clouds of heaven, led into the Ancient of Days, set in his presence, and all dominion, glory, And authority, a kingdom is the way the LSB is translating it. But dominion, glory, kingdom, authority, however you want to translate that, and all the peoples and nations and men of every tongue worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion. He is an eternal king. So this is an eternal, powerful, glorious, sovereign king who looks like a human, who has equal authority to God. That's who Jesus is claiming to be dozens of times in the Gospels.
Hmm.
Jesus is claiming to be God, or at least equal to him. He's saying, oh, he's just a prophet, or it's just from Paul. No, he is quoting the Old Testament. He's quoting Daniel. This is exactly the point. Jesus is using what came before him to establish his own authority.
I think it's funny because earlier you said that you can't find Jesus in the Old Testament, and here we are.
Right. Like, oh, Jesus isn't in the Old Testament. It's like he's everywhere in the Old Testament.
Yeah,
Literally, the first verse of the Bible has Jesus in it.
Your Deuteronomy 18 happens to be the Lord Jesus and not
Like,
Muhammad.
I mean, even Genesis 1, like Bereshit bara Elohim etz v'hashamayim va'etz rez. Like the etz, the first etz is interpreted by Jews in the Second Temple Judaism period to be the memra of Yahweh, the memra of the Lord. Well, the memra is the Aramaic for the word logos, or the word for word. So John, whenever he says in the beginning was the logos, the logos was with God, the logos was God, he gets that from the Jews. He's not inventing it. He's not getting it from Philo. He's not getting it from the Greeks. He's actually getting it from the Jewish translations, specifically Neophiti, and also Targum Jonathan. So Targum Neophiti, Targum Jonathan have a personification of the memra of Yahweh, the word of Yahweh, as a personal agent who created the universe, who dies for sin, who takes away the sins of the world.
What do you mean there's no name Jesus in the Old Testament?
Brother. Okay, hold on. Let's open up Isaiah again. Isaiah 12. Let me bring this back up on the screen.
Because actually,
NASB.
his titles are in the Old Testament, but also the name Joshua is the same name. So
here's his name right here. And not only is his name right here, it says, behold, God is Yeshua.
salvation.
I will trust and not be afraid, for the Lord God is my strength and my song, and he has become my Yeshua. Literally, Li, my Yeshua. This is the word Jesus. That's exactly how you spell it. There's an extra he at the end, but that's how you spell Jesus' name. This is God becoming Yeshua in the Old Testament. This happens at least 30 times that I found. There's also quotation from Deuteronomy. His name appears, and his name is used in place of God becoming it.
You know what? Also, another prophecy of the fact. So you love to call the Lord Jesus the Messiah, which he is very rightfully. But a prophecy of the Messiah in the Old Testament says that his name will be Emmanuel, and that is another name of the Lord Jesus. If you're unfamiliar, the name Emmanuel means God is with us.
Yep.
And so Emmanuel's not just a cool name that you can name your Spanish kid. It is a name that literally means God is with us. Okay? So if you take the fact that his name is Jesus, right? That's what he was called during his time here on earth. But that his title is God is with us. Well, then maybe you can come to the conclusion that he is, in fact, the God who is with us.
Also of the Messiah.
Yeah, wonderful counselor.
To us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulders. He will be called Wonderful Counsel, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing it and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. This is an eternal king. It was a wonderful counselor. This phrase in the Hebrew actually just means like he's wondrous, he's wonderful. That's the exact phrases applied of God. So this is a divine title, divine title, divine title, divine title, and he's eternal.
Also, you guys love to say that, well, actually, you could call Allah Father back then. Well, guess what the Lord Jesus is called?
Father.
Yeah. So
Yeah, also get in Psalm 2.
that is a proper name, you lying. All right.
That's a proper name. I literally just showed you.
Where's Muhammad? Where's Muhammad in the Old Testament? I'd love to know. Where's his name?
We have literally Yeshua's name in the Old Testament. A variety of ways, a variety of places. And actually, it's interesting because if you look at the Greek and you look at the Aramaic, it translates it into more of a divine, like a personal agent. Because Yeshua, especially with the Yeshuat, the grammatical form. Space is how you bring up something. There's keyboard shortcuts. Learn something new every day. Anyway, when you translate, I guess I could go ahead and bring this up. When you translate this passage, just go back down. You have an interesting thing happening here.
Yeah, I know you don't believe in the Old Testament. That's not the problem. You asked us.
So this is soterion here in the Greek.
Mhm.
I can't imagine you know how to speak Greek, but here it is. This is soterion. This is a personal agent. This is going from God is my savior to Kyrios is specifically my savior. So God is my salvation to God is my savior.
Mhm.
It is making it into a personalized agent. So no, God is the one who is this thing, other than just God is salvation generally. And we still have that context being applied in the Aramaic. So we have like I don't know how you I don't understand. That's also the memra here, by the way. That's memra.
Mm.
So in the memra of Yahweh is our salvation.
Yeah, the word. Yeah. Also, Tawheed, you kind of have a big problem with not believing in the Old Testament because your Allah commands you to in the Quran. If that is indeed what the Torah is, it may just be the Talmud, as Chris and I have been demonstrating over the past several streams. So if it's the Talmud, you're in much bigger trouble. But if it's the Torah, I can let you slide. Also, this user dude keeps talking about some freaking like experience. What the heck? Jesus is the atoning bread containing cannabis? I mean, hey, what's with the psilocybin?
Oh, he's just part of the hippie movement. So there's this what's the scholar's name? He was on Joe Rogan a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah, that
He's
guy.
basically
Yeah, I know
the
who you're talking
mushrooms
about.
dude, like
Yep,
you eat mushrooms to experience Jesus.
yep.
And we can all become Jesus if we just take in the shrooms.
Yeah, there was he had another guy on who was talking about how, yeah, drug use was really prevalent during that time, and Jesus was probably just, like some fertility thing, and they took like a bunch of drugs and they were like all having sex and stuff. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, absolute nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
Yeah.
I challenge you to show me Muhammad.
Just show him Muhammad in the Old Testament.
I mean, I know you don't believe in it. Well, actually, first of all, I'd like for you to head on over to God Logic and tell him what the Injil is, and then after you're done with that, then we can talk.
No, well, it was corrupted.
Right, I forgot.
Magically.
I'm
Well,
such an
it's corrupted by
Islamophobe.
Allah.
I'm
So
such an Islamophobe.
the only way you can actually hold to the idea that the Quran was correcting the broken corruptions of the Injil and the Torah is if you actually think Allah changed all the books retroactively.
Yep.
That's the only way. The only way Islam can be true is if Allah is evil. That's it. Because Allah had to purposely change every Bible on the planet, every manuscript history in the planet, and then change everyone's memories of it on the planet all at the same time right after Muhammad. That's the only way. It has to be a miraculous event. You cannot have a natural means of corruption of those books because those books are scattered all over the world and all the translations agree, all the copies, all the manuscripts agree. We have the Bible in 6 different languages very early on within the first 600 years of the Bible's tradition that all agree, Old Testament, New Testament, they're the same. What do you do with that? The only thing you can do with that is, oh, Allah changed all of them, so he is the one deliberately leading billions of people to hell.
First of all, the Quran was not written by Constantine. And second, I apologize if you think that our actual historical critical method of discerning that Jesus was not a pothead is ignorant.
Did he say that?
Yes. You're both ignorant AF. Thanks, Brody.
Uh,
Go back to smoking your hashish. You see, your hashish is going to leave you burnt out, but you know what does not leave you burnt out is the gospel of Jesus.
that's a good question, Tim. Who's Allah praying to?
Harut and Marut. It's funny that
Allah
they
does
show up
pray.
once and then never again.
Yeah. That happens a decent number of times, though.
Yeah, you know, the one guy who does keep showing up is Talmud. Do you know who that guy is?
Thamud? I think
Yes.
Thamud is the city. Or no, Ad is the city, and Thamud is the prophet?
Because it just keeps talking about and Moses and Noah and Talmud. You're like,
Yeah.
who?
Thamud is like actual people group.
Okay.
They
I
are the
never really
Northern
looked into it.
Arabians.
I was just like confused because he
Yeah,
acts
no,
like this is like an Old Testament prophet or something. And I'm like, I don't know who you
no,
are.
the Talmudic tribes are the people of Sinai, of northern, so like right where the mountain would have been. So they
Oh,
are the
okay.
people of Northern Arabia. They actually have like traditions that date back quite a long. I don't know if there's still any of them that are surviving now, but they've been around for a long time. They're not quite Bedouins, but they're basically Bedouins. They're just a form of Arab tribe that existed in Northern Arabia for a very long time,
Hmm.
and a lot of their mythology is passed around in Arabia over time. There is a case to be made that because it's Salah that goes to the people of Thamud with the camel, and he does the miracle, and the camel comes out of the mountain. The camel can provide enough milk to feed everyone, and then it drinks up all of the well and the water to where none of the other animals can drink water. And then the camel is hamstrung by the people because they're jealous and angry that it's drinking all the water for their camels, even though it can produce milk for everyone, including the camels, to drink. But they don't trust the camel to actually do it because they're like, oh, we're going to monopolize it. So they hamstrung it. Allah gets angry and he burns everything down in either a volcano or a meteor shower. It's unclear. But there's some form of like
Fiery
cataclysmic event that
indignation.
right, yeah. Um, so Selah was sent to Thamud in order to convert them. He was the prophet sent to them with their book, and his
Mm.
miracle proof was the camel. There is some, I think it's Palmer, who has a crackpot theory that Selah is supposed to be Moses or is derivative of the Talmudic stories of Moses, because Moses did go to the area where the Talmudic tribes were from. So because he went to Sinai, he went to Mount Sinai, he went to Mount Horeb, which is where
Mhm.
those tribes are from. They may have saw Moses in the distant past and then developed these stories about Selah from him because they heard about the miracles. They heard about what he was able to do. So the
I mean,
miracle claims of Selah might come from Moses, according to one scholar from the 1800s.
I'm sure his meeting with the Lord was quite the spectacle to be seen around for a while. So,
Yeah, I mean the mountain caught on fire.
yes, it was literally filled with the glory of God,
Correct.
which is
And it's a
so
pretty tall mountain. If you've seen Harkocom, it's pretty tall.
right. Yeah. Hey, they could just be confusing Moses and the golden calf with Selah and the camel.
Yeah. I don't know when he said that a couple minutes ago. Yeah, Talmud is the group. I was thinking the Talmudic tribes. Ad is also one of the people groups because there's two different prophets that are unknown to history and unknown to the Bible. and Selah and the one sent to Ad are the two unknown guys. There's also like two other prophets that are mentioned once or twice in the Quran that literally no one knows who they are. It's like one of the Zuls. Because it's in like the whole list.
Zulkifl?
Pretty maybe
Zulkifl is in there. Yeah, I
one of those
remember. Yeah,
guys.
because we were
You
reading
just
in the
don't know who he
Quran.
is.
Yeah, we were reading in the Quran. Me and Adam and Andrew, and we come across and Abraham and Dul Kifl. And we're like, who's Dul Kifl? And they're like, we don't know. This is the first time we read of him.
Yeah, the commentaries don't know who he is either. So, Allah knows best who Zulkifl is. But there's a couple prophets like him that are mentioned once, never again, and no one knows who they are. But the Quran is perfectly clear.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that too whenever you said it.
Yeah. So
hang on, you just butchered Numbers 28:3. What? Okay, sorry. Go ahead and read that.
Oh, the pothead.
Yeah.
So crazy iffy. 200 rubies.
I have no idea.
I think that's the Hindi. Anyway, God bless you, dear brothers, for your work. Islam is a heresy. The Dawa gangsters will never discuss any time their Quran because it's all gibberish. Yes. They will recite it in Arabic to sound authoritative and knowledgeable, but they will not debate it.
Yeah, I love whenever they do their videos and stuff, they'll start it off with like 3 lines of Arabic and you're like, wow, sounds really good. I don't know. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard DOC make fun of their Arabic pronunciation?
Yes, and it's hilarious.
I can't talk. All my pronunciations are terrible. But listening to her tear into like Muhammad Hijab on his terrible pronunciation of the Arabic.
This is the worst, apparently.
So much fun. Apparently. Yeah, he also like gets the words wrong.
Yeah.
So he's not even just like pronouncing it poorly. He's also like changing the words that he's supposed to be reciting. Yeah.
Yeah, so Numbers 28:3 is actually a great verse talking about the 2 lambs without spot. That has nothing to do with pot. He just inserted that there somehow. I don't know where he got pot from. This is the offering made by fire, which you shall offer unto the Lord, 2 lambs of the first year without spot, day by day for a continual offering, which is another type of Jesus Christ in the Old Testament. So you can take that Tawhid Islam. Out of his nostrils goeth smoke. Pot smoke.
That's so dumb.
I love there's the camp of allegorizing everything that's literal, and then the camp of literalizing everything that's allegorical,
Yep.
Those are my
because genre doesn't matter. Why would you interpret things based on genre?
Absolutely not.
No. Context schmontext. Like, come on, man.
You take it and you just
out of here
in the trash.
Yeah. Right in the trash.
Mm-hmm.
You're not in Islamophobia. Islamophobia is not possible. It's not possible to be irrationally afraid of Islam. It's a rational concern to have. There's nothing irrational about it. So for it to be a phobia, it has to be irrational. There's nothing irrational involved. But okay, I think it's about time we start wrapping up.
Who is Hypatia? What? What is Hasmonean? Hasmonioan? Anyways, I don't even know what that means. Set up during the siege of Titus. All right, yeah. Did you see when Daniel when Daniel debated AP and he said that never mind, it doesn't make any sense now. I forget what the guy's name is, but he was a Jewish revolutionary and they called him the Messiah. Do you know the guy I'm talking about? He was like a big time Jewish revolutionary after Jesus, and they all thought he was the Messiah. Yeah, yeah. The Bar Konan revolt or whatever. What was it? The Bar
Yeah.
Kokhba. The Bar Kokhba revolt.
Barakaba.
Yeah.
Barakaba. Yeah.
It is painful listening to my utter ignorance, I'm sure. I'm sure. Go ahead and knock you back a couple Mick Ultras and have a seat, watch you some Family Guy, buddy. Get off stream.
Barcopa.
Yeah, the Bar Kokhba revolt.
There's been a bunch of messianic things that happened.
Yes, he is a literal historical person. I can't
During that.
take these people. These people make me mad.
Oh man, this is the dumbest take. This is
You're
the
not a literal
flat
historical
Earth.
person.
This is the
Yes.
flat Earth theory of historic positions.
Yeah. I bet
I
you're a
mean that in all
zeitgeist
seriousness.
atheist.
I don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean that in like the closest parallel to your belief system is literally flat Earth theorists. That's how ridiculous it is to deny. Like, out of any people to deny in history, he is by far the least likely to be made up. Like, we have his brother's tomb. Like, what are you all about, mate? I don't know.
It doesn't say pot. Why do you keep quoting Numbers 28:3? Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's the plan. I mean, I already have a couple of videos on Orthodox Judaism. It probably I'm gonna make a video on how the rabbis changed Judaism and all of the contradictions within the Talmud and the Bible and how they altered the Bible in order to create their belief systems. Because it's extensive. It's a lot. The only reason why I found out about the Islamic connection is because I was studying the Talmud to debunk Orthodox Judaism. So actually, all the Islam stuff is a sidetrack to my original point, which was to challenge Orthodox Jews to their belief systems. Little grammar Nazi.
I had to.
So yes, Sebastian, I'm going to jump into Orthodox Judaism more. I'll probably be doing more stuff with Ash Mays as well for that. But yeah, if you haven't seen my Isaiah 53 video, that was my first foray into debunking Orthodox Judaism. I had a variety of Orthodox Jews in the comment section after the David stream. That was fun. But yeah. Other than that, do you have any last final thoughts before we hop off? Because I need to go to sleep.
No, not particularly. I'm probably going to stay up for another like hour watching One Piece, but that is what it is.
It's superior to Family Guy in every way.
You seen One Piece?
I've read it. I never watched it.
Oh, okay. Never mind. We'll have to talk about it because I don't want to spoil any of the viewers.
Okay. I'm up to date. But
I'm not yet. That's why
yeah.
I'm cruising.
I was a big weeb. Do I have any anime stuff? No, I don't. All just Star Wars and Legos. For those who don't know, I have a shelf above me that has a bunch of nerd stuff on it. So I have my Rubik's Cube, I have my Lego set. I'll make myself a little bit bigger real quick.
Oh, yeah,
I got a
Anakin's
little.
and-
Oh yeah. I have Anakin's Starfighter. I have the Slave One. I have two different Rubik's Cubes back there. My favorite Rubik's Cube is actually up there. Can get it out without destroying this. Ooh, okay. So this is a dodecahedron Rubik's Cube that is 5-layered that I solved in about 3 hours because it just takes forever to solve it. And then I solved it again in this pattern, and then I have not touched it again because why would you spend 3 hours of your life every time you want to do it? And it doesn't turn very easy. It turns very slow. So it's hard. It's not a speed cube. But I do have like a speed cube version of a dodecahedron, which is just 3 layers. Anyway, got a whole bunch of nerd stuff. I have more nerd stuff above that shelf.
I have nerd stuff too, but it looks bad, so I'm not going to show any of it.
Oh, then I have like a literal working spyglass.
That looks like you remember in Pirates of the Caribbean when Barbossa pulls out his spyglass and then Jack tries to pull out his, and it's like 2 layers.
Yeah. So I have a literal old timey spyglass with leather binding on it still. It's
nice.
like 200 years old. Yeah.
Does it have good magnification?
No.
No.
It does not. No, it does not. Yeah. No, it's I mean it's decent. I can't think of a good comparison. It's like a 3x scope for a hunting rifle.
Okay.
It's not terrible. You can see at the end of a street with it, like maybe 100 yards, 150 yards, with good magnification. But anything beyond that is just not very good. It's mainly good for like seeing land on a horizon.
Right.
Yeah, but people are still debating. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Thank you for everyone who's coming out. Thank you so much for everyone who donated with super chats. It was awesome. Thank you again, Chase, for deciding to hop on last minute when I texted you like 10 minutes before you got home and like, hey, you want to go live? Because I'm lazy and procrastinating today. So I think it was a lot of fun. It
Yeah.
was worthwhile to people who came, hopefully.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will. I think that last conversation with that Muslim was super helpful for some people because I hope the people who like the rewatch gang watch us till the end because that was a good conversation.
Yeah. Okay. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit with you always. Thank you everyone for coming out. See you next time.